I mean, that's one of the things. I mean, what love, all this emotion. Let's be real. I mean, and
Yeah.
this is true in the animal kingdom as well. When women are looking for men with resources, and
Yeah.
one of the best things you can do is become a homeowner.
Sure.
Have your own house, for example.
Hmm.
You want to have your own transportation, that kind of thing. You want to look nice, look presentable to society. I mean, this is the thing I hear about people being incels and stuff like that. One of the things in today's age is you've got to interact with people personally. You can't just do it on social media. If you think, I mean, back in the days when we met women, when I talked with women, you did it. You would interact with them personally. It wasn't first by the internet. That this is a real important thing.
Totally agree.
If you want to get in a relationship with somebody, you got to meet them personally. You got to know these people personally, and make sure that person is giving you attention. Like if you go to a restaurant, for example, and if that woman's cell phone rings and she picks it up, I'm gone.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I'm gone. If I'm not worth your time, if I'm not worth your undivided attention for a little bit of time, I'm out of there.
So do you leave your cell phone in the car?
Huh?
Do you leave your cell phone in the car if you go on a date?
Do I what?
5 minutes, Flo. I have 5 minutes.
I would leave my cell phone in the car. I would turn it off.
Hello.
Yeah.
So Iridium, it seems to me like you've shifted a lot of the burden in your sort of readiness, and you said a lot of things that like are kind of common sense. So like have your wallet in order, drive a car. But I was just really curious because I just wanted to see if like you would have any like personal development, those sorts of things, right? But you've given your answer, and that's great. Michelle and Flow State.
I'll go if it's okay with you, Flow State. So if I was speaking to a younger woman and I was giving her advice on how she could prepare herself on to be a good wife in the future, one of the things that I had to lean on a lot and expand a lot is becoming much more resourceful. And like I have a weird working knowledge of HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Even those are typically man things. My husband really appreciates that I understand what a flame sensor is and how to fix it during a polar vortex. He really, really appreciates it. So do my kids. These are the things that keep the house running. To expand on Jasmine's point, like it doesn't have to be a law degree. Like you could take parenting classes. You can like spend more time, like babysit kids, get all the experience and get really good at different things to run a house. There was a really great book that I read like back when I was in my early 20s called The Old Ways. And I learned that you can stop bleeding with like weeds that grow in your yard. And like, you don't know what kid is going to have a spiral fracture and you have to stop that bleeding right now. And like, you can't go get your first aid kit. Like, even though that's like crazy. And like, typically you would go for that first aid kit. Like, you just don't know when things like that become useful. And there were so many instances where in my marriage, I relied on just having that vast array of like no particular hat that I got to dip into. So I would say be resourceful, expand everything that you possibly can to do so.
Thanks, Michelle. Flow State.
And I think that, and for me, so this is kind of a hard question because I'm one of those people that has to learn everything the hard way, and I don't think that I would be able to identify a good relationship for myself if I hadn't been through a bad one and learn what I don't like. But that said, I guess I would just encourage people to look at where you are now and recognize that there are different stages in life. And I think one of the mistakes I made is my ex-wife, we met when we were in college. And so we could both, in that lifestyle, right, where you basically out partying and socializing, right, we could walk into a party together and have a great time. But it turns out we could not adult together at all. So figure out, there are other stages in life, and can you problem solve with this person?
Awesome. Well, that's really cool to hear all of the different advices kind of weighing in. I think I'm somebody that plans on getting married in the near future, I would hope. And so, these are all things that I would take into consideration. Well, all but one. But Kush, specifically to something you said, and I want to sympathize with an idea that you laid out. I think that when you said that it's important that people get that interpersonal interaction with people of the opposite gender, I know you don't believe that men should live with women or men should interact with women. Sorry if I'm strawmanning you. But I think something specific that I also wanted to say, that when you're having conversations about marriage and you're looking at it from varying perspectives, I think it's super important that you do so from a perspective of like looking at the factual information, right? Because I think it can be so easy for us to all get caught up in anecdotes and our emotions. And the impression that I get when I'm listening to you speak, Kush, because you did also admit to somebody that you have a lot of fear in the sort of things that you say. I don't think that you should have to be a hopeful person to engage with marriage, but I think that fear is loaded with a lot of emotion, and I think it might be hindering your ability to engage in this conversation in a rational way.
No, I don't agree.
Okay. Well, I think it's important that you recognize that, right? Because I think a lot of the things that you say, and I think that Jasmine really plainly pointed out, was that you do seem to have some sort of confirmation bias with the men that you interact, and then you lead a lot of your arguments with the anecdotes that are provided to you by these men, right? So, I want to sympathize with the idea that I think you would have a really good premise for a support group for other disgruntled and divorced dads, but that if you're actually considering engaging conversations about marriage seriously, then maybe you should like remove your own anecdotes and then look at the information that's available to all of us, right?
Well, again, I'm not
that's all.
I think you're missing the point. I'm not going to be one who encourages somebody to get married in the first place.
Yeah, I think you made that very clear. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hello, Neve. Thanks for popping on. You can always hop back in line too.
Of course. Nice talking to everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Neve.
Yes. Thank you, Neve. All right. And Damien, a new one on the panel. I haven't met you before, but Neve told me about you already, so I'm super excited. And another thought process I wanted to add to the panel, too, is the idea of the work and effort it takes to have a family. It takes a lot of mental, physical strain, emotional strain in terms of having a family and raising children and being responsible for somebody else's emotions and so on and so forth. So just another thought to throw out there to consider. But outside of that, Damien, the floor is yours, to the panel as well. Have at it.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me come up. Neve, I guess, thought I'd be a great person to come up because I'm usually on panels as the guy who's been married for quite a while. I've been married for 17 years, father of 3. So thank you. So they always, and I'm a big proponent of people getting married. I think I just want to go back and answer Neve's question about what do I tell somebody about and my gender about to prepare themselves if they're really considering getting married. One of the things, the first thing I tell them was step away from like sport dating, and then start to look at yourself and start to develop those boundaries and values that you think are going to be important to you long term. And then only date with intention people who have congruent values as you are. Because I think a lot of people, they try to turn people that they were kind of sport dating into something else. So they try to change the person to fit their idea of something. I think what you need to do is focus on developing, like I said, boundaries and values, and know how to differentiate from preferences. Like, I want a fat ass. Okay, that's a preference, or I need fidelity. That's a boundary. Those are the things you need to learn how to really differentiate themselves from that. And I would tell somebody, a young man who's looking to get married, I was like, you need to open your mind to the possibility of having some kind of pre-marriage counseling, like, because you got to learn these communication tactics that are going to be that's going to carry you when things get tough, that you can use to utilize when things get tough. But just to kind of stay on topic, is marriage absolutely? I absolutely don't. I'll tell you why I don't think it is, and I'll tell you what I personally benefit from being married is that I think marriage just needs a rebranding. I think people have in their mind it's the same old marriage. There's a married under God with the same old expectations and pressures that come along with that. I'm an atheist, so I'm not married under God. So I don't subscribe to that. I think people need to realize that marriage is like, it's the Burger King way of looking at marriage. You can have it your way. Marriage is whatever is defined by what you and the person that you would define to be. I think Michelle said she has like an open relationship. I like, you can define, and that's great, and that works for people. You have the swingers. There's, you know, all kinds of type of relationships that may work for you if you open your mind to it's not one set of rules you need to follow in your marriage. Then you won't pigeonhole yourself into something that you won't be happy with long term. You know, so that's one of the things that I think that needs to happen for people to really see the value in marriage. And I can just say personally, like some of the things, everybody kind of hit on a bunch of stuff. Like, you know, men do make more money when they're married. It's just a statistical fact that men make more money, and employers look more favorable over married guys than single guys because, number one, they feel like they have a something to work for, something that's stable that they have to maintain for a long period of time, and they tend to stay in jobs a lot longer if they have that something that they need to maintain for a while. And just healthier. Like, I'm probably way healthier than I would have been as a single man, because I'm like every other guy. Like, if it's not blood coming out of every orifice, I'm probably not going to the doctor. You know, I cut my finger, I'll tape it up, super glue it, and go about my business. I've gone to the doctor more than I ever have because my wife has been like, I need you to be around for a while. And so you need to look at your health. You need to, you know, exercise. You need to get on, you know, if they recommend medications or whatever like that, you know, you need to go to regular scheduled doctor's appointments, you know, and just like others, the medical backstop. If something were to happen to me, you know, my wife knows what I would want to be done. You know, do I want to live as a vegetable, or do I want to, you know, over the top things to keep me alive in a crazy state, you know? And it's just, those are some of the intangible ones. And, you know, if you want to get, you know, basic with it, you know, access to consistent sex and insight, you know, that's a great reason to get married for a lot of people, in addition to the other things I stated, you know. And I just want to go back to Kush's thing about the fear. I get it, brother. I get it. This is my second marriage. I was married for 13 months. It didn't work out. And then I met my wife 6 months after that marriage, and we dated for 1 month. And then we didn't, because I wasn't ready to be, you know, that kind of stuff. So, and then 4 years later, we ran into each other. When I did do what I said, I'm saying young men should do, I took a step back to like develop boundaries and values that I thought that I needed somebody to align with for a long-term relationship. So I think if you do that, you don't get caught up in the kind of person, oh, this woman just wants me for much. Then you know that this person is a person who wants a long-term marriage. You know, if this person is good with, is open to, like, if you want to sleep with somebody else, or if you learn more about what you need, and then you can just date the people who are aligned with that. So, you know, it's just, I don't want to seem like I'm just droning on. So if anybody has any questions for me, feel free to jump in or what have you.
I don't completely agree on the employment thing, because I've been a bachelor and I've worked for my company for 26 years. And one of the big advantages I have is that I can travel anywhere on the drop of a dime. I can get a phone call now and I can be in Japan tomorrow. Okay. Nobody else, all the rest of these guys are married men, and they can't do that. They don't have the flexibility to do that. And just some other things and this is just what I hear in personal experience. This isn't just people in the MGTOW community. These are my coworkers. Okay. For example, I mean, these guys have stayed married, but I mean, they both tried to get out of their wedding anniversaries last week. They were trying to look for excuses to get out of their wedding anniversaries. I mean, that, from my point of view, just doesn't look like happiness to me.
I want to ask you a question. Was it because they're not happy, or they're not rocking with the pressure of trying to do something for their anniversary? They're out of ideas. Like, I don't know what to get this woman. I've got her every, taking her every dinner, taking her every show, whatever. We've done all that shit together. I have no idea. I wish my anniversary with some pressures of it. Because if there's a difference between, I don't want the pressure of coming up with a present, and I don't like her no more.
Yeah, like I loathe Christmas like so much. I hate
Grinch.
it. Like I would freaking burn it off the planet if I could, but I love like giving gifts and like doing things for my kids and doing family things. But I hate the pressure of like Christmas. Like
Yeah, my wife gives the worst gifts. I mean, seriously. I mean, one time, seriously, she gives the worst gift, but she is the best woman I've ever met in my life. But her gift giving is just horrible in a lot of cases.
Think about it this way, though. I don't think anybody particularly enjoys, say, Mother's Day, but we all like having our mothers, right? So,
yeah.
So I mean, I'm like, in my profession, I not as much as anymore, but I did travel quite a bit, and it was never a big headache. It was just like you kind of work things out or what have you. If I had to go overseas or whatever, it never was a big deal. It's it's just you have that conversation, and I think the person understands that this is how you are making your money. They're gonna say, "Oh no, don't be productive at your job and stay at home with me," because if you got that kind of wife, then you got the wrong wife. If you got that kind of husband, then you got the wrong husband. That's the thing. That's those discussions that need to have been had before you got married. Like, here's my job. Here's what I'm doing. Are you going to have any issues with that? I think there is a ton of things that are unsaid prior to people getting married that then all of a sudden they expect once the person get married. I think that's one of the leading causes of a miscommunication and bad communication in marriage is unrealized expectations, usually because they never were expressed in the first place. Yeah. If you express what your expectations are, then you give somebody the latitude to either rock with it or don't. People go in there just like, oh, they should know. My wife should know that I want sex 3 times a week, 5 times a week, 10 times a week. Well, how does she know that? Because you did it in the past, but things have changed now. Like, you got kids, you got things like that. You need to reestablish these and make sure your expectations of the marriage are pretty much aligned quite a bit. You can't just say the things that I expected of you when we were, like I said, I've been married 17 years. The things I expected of my wife year 1 is not the same thing I was expecting year 5, year 15, and now year 17. So I think that's where people go wrong. They be like, God damn it, you weighed the same, you fucked me the same, you did all this shit the same. What happened to all that? Life happens.
Well, I guess a lot of people I talk to aren't taking your advice or haven't done the kind of research that you have, because I get this from people. I've gotten this from colleagues, customers on the phone on Thanksgiving. I'll say, I'm just hanging at home, chilling, watching football, and they're like, I'm so jealous of you. You don't have to.
Because expectations. They're like, they probably got to entertain a bunch of people, so they're like, I'd rather deal with a headache. But I guarantee you, they wouldn't leave their wife to have your life ever.
Yeah, it's like unemployed people might call you and say like, oh yeah, I'm just sitting on the couch doing nothing. You might be like, oh, I'm so jealous, I'm at a job, but you would rather have the job. Also, the thing he said about being healthier, that is just true. Men who are married live longer and are less likely to get sick.
Well, I appreciate you having me on there. I'll let the next person come up.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Damien. And you're welcome to get back in line as well. Josie, are you ready?
No.
Hi, Josie. No?
No.
Okay.
Your timer stresses me out so much.
Before you start the timer, can I address the stability thing?
The what?
The topic of having a stable job has come up a couple times.
Yeah,
women want men to have a stable job.
I'm a bit lost on the topics actually. But hi, Jasmine. Long time no see.
Hi, nice seeing you.
Yeah, good to see you too. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
But real quick, I disagree with that. I think that having a stable job is not an important thing to women. And actually, Katie, who I'm with now, she's the one who told me when I got fired in 2020 that I'm not allowed to have another regular 9 to 5 job. And I haven't since. And so that's, just anecdotally, it's not always the case that women want somebody with a stable job and now you have to be boring and locked into just making money.
Another.
So
go ahead.
You're okay with your wife working and you're not?
No, I do work, but I work for myself. I've got basically a bunch of side hustles, and she doesn't work. Occasionally she'll help out with something, but my goal is to be the one working.
Okay.
Her goal?
My goal is to support all of us.
Okay,
Myself.
so you're working towards that.
Correct.
So you understand
But-
that it doesn't make the case that necessarily a woman can be like the sole provider, has like her role in the entire marriage. If it's temporary, that's her taking on the role of the provider, right?
I don't know that I
completely
understand what
different.
you're asking.
Well, you understand that those are two completely different things, right?
What two things are different?
The one that the woman decides to take the role of the provider within the relationship versus the woman providing while the guy is working towards that goal. Currently, she's investing in you to become that guy. She's not expecting.
Sure. Right. I understand that that paradigm is different than one in which she's the breadwinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah, I think you brought it up earlier about like the economic advantages about marriage, but nobody like really like super jumped into it. Like median house right now is like in between like what was it, $370,000 and $400,000, and basically like right now, if you want to have like that like picket fence American dream life with like one of those houses, and you want like a family of like two where you take vacations every year, you're basically almost 100%, unless like you are a trust fund baby, are going to need a double income on that, or like you're top 10% or something. Like the only way you're making that particular thing work is both parents are working and educated and have good jobs. So I just don't think there's really I don't think there really is like an attainable alternative to that, to have a life. So I suppose if I were to sell a marriage, if you wanted that life, I would say that would be how you were going to get it.
Oh yeah, in order to raise a modern nuclear family, this day and age, both parents have to work. That's just a fact, because of the cost of everything this day and age.
I mean, if you're an engineer, it sounds like I would disagree with that. I would think that if you got married, your wife would not have to work. I mean,
she wouldn't.
Yeah, right. So
but again, I admit that I'm an exception in that case.
I don't know that I think that you are an exception. I think that I think people have their priorities or their patterns, their habits of lifestyle, maybe a little bit out of whack. A lot of times, I think that if more people prioritized it, then more people could do it. But I get what you're saying. The economic situation has gradually gotten worse, and it will continue to over time as inflation increases.
But if honestly, if it were just my wife living with me, yeah, I could support the whole show. Kids, it's iffy, because both my colleagues, they make good money too, and their wives. His wife has to work. The other, she works voluntarily, but it is still good supplementary income. And yeah, but I'd say grosso modo.
It also kind of depends on the stage of the family. Like me returning to work right now with my when my kids are older is completely different than me returning to work when my kids are like 3 and 2 and 1, like young kids. So I know it's kind of like a past thing to have like that latchkey sort of house. These days, like you're dropping in on your house with your webcams and stuff like that. Like there are ways to do the nuclear family and be thrifty about it. You don't necessarily need to have the $400,000 house, move out deep into the suburbs, do the more country thing. Like there's ways you could pull it off, but like, yeah, Krish, I would say like you probably are like in the top earners, and so maybe you could pull it off, but you would still need to make concessions on how you would live to have a wife that wouldn't
of course work. Of course, yeah.
So can you just remind me what the question is? I'm like, I kind of
The initial question is marriage becoming obsolete? Why men and women are choosing to delay or avoid marriage? Where we just went was in the aspect of, having a family is very costly and expensive. Is that a reason to want to have a family or avoid having a family, and the expenses that kind of run behind it, especially in today's society and economy?
Okay. Yeah. So can I answer that?
Yeah. You've got about 5 minutes left.
Cool. Probably because marriage used to be a religious idea that was something that it was a man and a woman under God, and today it's two individuals under, if you live in California, it would be under Gavin Newsom. So Gavin Newsom taking God's name in vain in the first place.
Bingo.
Second, there is really no benefit for guys to get married nowadays, and even I wouldn't recommend it to any of my friends, nor the guy that I'm currently dating right now. I just don't see any benefits for it. On the other hand, my parents aren't married, still happily together, so I would say I do not have the best role model that I have are two people who aren't married. Therefore, I would say that certainly influences my opinion.
Did you hear the guy who came up before you at all?
A little bit, yeah.
He listed out a lot of benefits.
Yeah, I still don't believe that those are benefits that you get through marriage. You can get
No,
all
I
of
agree
those-
with that. It's not through marriage because I do all those things without being married.
You really don't need to be married, and even now you can be
Yeah.
boyfriend, girlfriend, be listed under the same health insurance, and it just really depends on the employer and everything else. So really, everything else is about insurance policy. It's not even about like a legal contract anymore. So no, I don't think that marriage under the law is it even a necessity? I mean, once you have children, I'm pretty sure that when it comes to child support, it takes over, no?
Yeah, child support would kick in without
It's
marriage.
not alimony that is going to ruin you, it's child support. So, I mean, whether or not you're
Yeah.
married, if you have children with somebody, it's no,
Right.
marriage is going to take half of your shit,
Having
and
sex with
I'm never
somebody is a
getting
bigger
married.
risk.
Yeah, but you're still smashing raw, so here we go. And that's
Iridium
child
looks like the
support.
sort of
You have
dude
an
that smashes raw.
unexpected baby with a girl that you don't want to be with, that's going to
Hey,
cost
look,
you a lot more than a divorce.
you don't need to do the ad hominem attacks.
I'm just messing with you, man. I didn't mean it wasn't intended to be an actual insult. I'm just playing around with you.
Right.
And I've got a kid, so obviously
Like-
I've smashed raw too, right?
No, I mean, I didn't take it personal. It's fine. That's all.
Josie, you get 5 more minutes. Somebody just bought you time.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, besides that, this whole idea, I also do not understand why, if you are a liberal that is against following the Bible and having a society based on Christian values, and you want to be, let's say everybody is an atheist, but you decide to get married, then wouldn't it be kind of, I just pick and choose my values? Wasn't marriage something religious in the first place, and now it's just two people deciding to, we're gonna do it because it's because you love each other, right? You love each other.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a Christian thing. All cultures.
Yeah,
have.
which religion? Like, marriage has been pretty ubiquitous throughout history.
The only religion that does not have marriage is atheism, which is pretty much what most of the country is at this point, thanks to Protestants.
The church
atheism isn't
marriage until later. In fact, the state always controlled marriage, even under when the Catholic. The church got involved later.
Yeah, but
Marriage-
the idea, the tradition of marriage is derived from religion itself. So if, by definition, if you don't believe in God, besides the $5,000 tax break, is there really a reason to get married?
Well, I mean, if marriage can be whatever you make it, like the guy before you said, and if two people just say we want to make a commitment to be together forever, I don't know what God has to do with that.
But legally, if we're just looking at it legally.
Yeah, so you don't have to be religious to get married. So legally, yeah, there's no difference between a marriage where people are Christian or atheist legally.
There's a
Yeah,
legal
but
or
what
religious and a
benefits?
social
What
aspect.
would somebody gain out of? Let's say if I had to sell marriage to an atheist, what are the good points that I could make to sell the idea of marriage. There isn't that many benefits to that, no, unless you're not the breadwinner, I guess.
I wouldn't sell it to somebody, but if two people are atheists and they say, I really want to get married, I really want to make a public commitment to you, and I want to go around society so people know you're not just my boyfriend, but you're my husband, because that does have more weight in society and to those people individually, that is meaning to them. It doesn't have to be meaning to you, but it's meaning to them.
Right, and it's not even just like a casual meeting. The second like my husband comes into like the hospital, if I'm taken in there by ambulance and he identifies himself as my husband and not my boyfriend, they're going to treat him differently. He doesn't get ushered to the waiting room; he gets ushered right to my room. And if I'm unconscious, he gets all of the information
But
that
you
is
said it
happening.
right
with
there.
me.
You said it right there. You can identify as your husband. So what is the point getting married if you can just identify as your husband if you desire to do so?
If it's a hospital that I'm familiar with, they would actually know who my husband is in the first place. And usually, you want to
But
have a
you didn't
primary
answer the
caregiver.
question.
Your hospital should actually have a background on you. Is kind of my answer to that.
So you're
I
saying-
understand there's some emergencies where they don't. Ideally, the hospital you're being taken into, like at 3 a.m, is a hospital that has a background on you, where you've set up like your preferences to your religious affiliation, who your family is, your insurance provider, all of the things.
Yeah, but you don't need a marriage certificate to put somebody as your husband. Your man can identify as your husband if he desires to do so. So
Mostly-
there's no reason to get
the-
married again.
So, I
The
mean, what you're
reason that-
saying is like somebody can commit fraud in a hospital and say that they're
It's
my
not
husband.
fraud.
Sure.
You can identify as your husband. You can
Oh, it would
present
be
as
fraud.
spouse.
It would
The
be
only thing
fraud.
is that
Legal-
if you
legal
apply
guardian.
for, let's say, state benefits, if you apply for state benefits, and you decide to be you just only declare yourself as like you're the sole income of your household, but then you go and present as husband and wife. Let's say you get food stamps, you might get in trouble. They might come knock at your door because
Well, I
there's
think- I
something
think-
that's not consistent here.
I think, Josie, the word you're looking for is basically a custodial care person. You whether you're married, whether you're not married, I mean, you can declare yourself the person responsible for custody, for custodial care.
But
The real
the-
reason is a social contract. That's why most people get married. Most people don't
Yeah.
get married so that they can go to the hospital or so that God knows that they like this person.
Right.
Rude Mud Crab comes with the $5. He says marriage is not Christian. It's been around since 2350 BC. Sky Daddy shakes his head.
Yeah, but the
Thank
idea
you,
of
Rude
marriage in the
Mudcrab.
United States and the whole concept that we adopted within the United States, it is a Christian type of marriage.
And why
Like,
are
the
we
whole concept?
secular
We don't have. You cannot marry 4 women in the United States.
You could in the Bible, though.
Yeah, exactly. 1 and 2, we are a secular. What you're saying, the Constitution or our country cannot say that only religious people can get married because it's a religious thing.
Yeah.
We are a secular nation. We were founded
That
as
is
a secular nation. So how then we shouldn't have marriage at all? If marriage is just religious, then the
Yeah,
state
why
shouldn't
not?
recognize marriage.
Why not?
But it does.
Why not?
Because there's no secular institution built within the law that gives the rights and builds families. Can you think of any other way that you can build a family with another adult in like illegally than marriage?
Yeah, my parents did it. It's doing fine for them so far.
Okay, so like they weren't legally married. They're like
Yeah, they're still not married.
they're
And,
still
and
not
I'm doing
married.
that right now. So, I mean, it can be done for sure.
Right. If you're talking about like the what is it, like the civil there's they will
There's no
recognize like a
civil
film.
union.
Okay, so are your parents in this country or a different country?
Canada, not that far.
Okay.
Okay,
And Josie, you get an
Canada,
extra 5
worse.
minutes. It was purchased for you, just so you know.
if you're saying that marriage is only religious and we are a secular nation that recognizes marriage, how do you square that away?
No, I didn't say that it was religious because currently, as factual, it isn't.
Okay.
It is a legal contract currently.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, that is my personal opinion on what it should be, not what it is. Just
Okay.
so that we get that straight. As far as... sorry, there's a word I'm looking for, my God. Yeah, as far as the seculars who get married, you want to get married, but I just think a lot of people are out there getting married because they want the nice Instagram pictures. Most people, I always recommend, guys, if you're gonna get married, just do me a favor, and I will leave you alone with that. Go consult a divorce lawyer. Most first consultations are free. Go speak with a divorce lawyer and just know what you're getting into. Marriage is a contract that most people get into without knowing anything about what they're getting into, and most of them would get a divorce actually had absolutely no idea of what would happen. They heard a bunch of stuff, and turns out it was a bunch of BS because there was a bunch of misinformation going around. I lived it. I can tell you, I was like, I didn't know that. So
what were you
honestly,
surprised by? Are you divorced too, I assume?
Yeah, I did not know that. The fact that I didn't have a social security number in this country. I did not know that I would also be entitled to his debt and that he could accumulate credit card debt without me signing anything or even knowing that I was entitled to that debt.
I don't think that that's true.
And no, I mean, I'm sorry, I had a bunch of lawyers involved in the case. I mean,
That gave you his debt?
It depends on the state, whether you're...
State of California, they just say, hey, it's a communal property, debt is communal property, it splits in the balance, period. I'm like, wait, I didn't sign any of it. I didn't even know it was there. I didn't know he got those loans. So,
well, you know, I actually agree with you that it's not a bad idea. People who, if you're mature enough to get married, then you have to be mature enough to have an idea of what happens if you were to divorce. So people who are like, oh my God, I won't even discuss a prenup. We won't even discuss the possibility of this ending. I don't think that is wise. I think a lot of times, and you'll even hear like prominent divorce attorneys that speak online that say the people most likely to end up into their offices are not the people that went and got a prenup before, it's the people that didn't.
Yep. 100%.
So,
and
most
can
people
I
do
get
not get prenups. Like,
Can I get some podcast comes up with the $5? Thank you. Saying she didn't say religious, she said Christian. Sorry, Muslims.
yeah, but in the United States, the way that it is structured, it's not the Muslim. My God.
I don't know what
It's
the
not-
differences
The
are between
Muslim
Christian and
structure.
Muslim
It is
marriage.
the Christian idea.
But it's not a Christian idea in the United States either. In the United States, marriage is entirely secular. There is not one law that we have that's from the Bible when it
I
comes
mean, Jewish people get married in this country.
Yeah. I
Too
mean,
many
it's
people get that.
isn't it like Abrahamic religion too?
Yeah, but
What
I'm
I
saying
mean is there are religious practices that you will not be able to bind within a legal contract in the United States. You can do it as, excluding the state, keeping the state out of it, but there isn't likely to be a law or something that is going to protect your 4 wives legally. You're probably just going to be able to put 1 wife on your insurance policy. And since in Muslim religion you need to treat 4 wives equally, I think that might be a problem. That's
yes,
all
I'm
saying.
saying there's no laws in the United States that are based off the Bible when it comes to marriage.
No, I didn't say law. I said the structure of marriage.
structure-
The family structure in the United States I believe is based off of the Bible.
Well, a traditional modern nuclear family traditionally
That's
is
what I was
based
looking
off
for, thank
Christian
you.
values. I would agree with that. The majority of the traditional modern nuclear family is based off Christian values. I agree that it's a Christian. It's pushing.
Because most people
Particularly, like, I mean, I'm Catholic, so I was,
historically
I was
Christian.
told I'm supposed to get married, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm saying that, yeah, most people historically and even today, although I think that they're more loosely Christian, are Christian, but that doesn't mean that the institution itself is Christian. So that's kind of my point.
Well, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It's
And you're
not
describing cultural. I mean, really, you're talking about culture. Christians take credit for a lot of cultural things that I don't really think they deserve credit for, like one man and one woman. That's not Christian. That's not how King David did his shit. So I don't remember where I was going to land that.
20 seconds.
So, in conclusion, that is basically, can we agree that marriage currently right now, actually, can
10
we,
seconds.
why is it in the currency in God we trust if it's not built off of Christian values?
You got 5 more minutes.
Oh, that's
Right in the last
talking
second.
about.
Thank you, Armin.
Wasn't that put in for Nixon? And he also put in under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. So he also had to remind us that he wasn't a crook either.
Illuminati references too.
Right?
there's a lot of
That was pretty
Under God?
recent.
This stuff is all
Yeah.
occult on these things.
Yeah, that was
In
only
God we
added
trust,
during.
That's a cult? Okay.
No, I wasn't saying it was a cult. I was saying that was like
no,
a
he
recent
said
addition.
he said that was
Okay.
a cult. And in God we trust, that's a cult.
No, well, they don't say which god, so it could be, but like the pyramid with
There's
the
only one
All-Seeing Eye.
God.
Pyramid with the eye on it. That's a.
Well, that depends
There's
on who
only
you
one
ask.
God.
Yeah.
I hear that that's your belief, but it depends on who you ask. You don't know who the people who design the money are referring to. You don't know if they believe in
Could have
one
been
god.
the
They
Muslim
believe in
God.
God, they were Christian.
No, a lot of the founding fathers. That's the thing.
Who designed the currency? Me neither. I don't know either. So we don't know what religion they
I'm
were.
thinking.
I could just tell you, like, I think this current currency we're using, most of it was designed during Nixon's presidency, and then it's been revamped a couple times since then. I'm pretty sure. All I can give you is that timeline.
Isn't the Declaration of Independence as well? All men are created by their creator. Their creator, I believe they're referencing God. So I believe that this country was founded under Judeo-Christian values.
I think it's nature's creator was the exact phrasing they used. But I'm gonna check. But I'm pretty sure they actually avoided like
Nah, I'm pretty sure they
specifying
were strong
God. Well, that was the whole thing about the Declaration of Independence. It was written to a king, and
on that. Do you
basically
believe
saying,
that? Do you believe that abortion is a constitutional right? Just curious.
I think it was actually appropriate to go back to the states. So not necessarily.
No.
Yeah, I think it
Absolutely
was. I think it was actually appropriate to go to the states. So not necessarily a constitutional right.
Okay, because you know that also the first right, just in the Declaration of Independence, what are human rights, unalienable rights, life,
Liberty and
okay.
pursuit of happiness. Those ones.
It's life, liberty, property. Pursuit of happiness came after, but
Okay.
and the idea of separation of church and state came under Jefferson, by the way.
Well, in the Declaration of
ideally,
Independence-
it was Christian, and after that, the whole separating the nation from Christianity came during Jefferson. So,
I don't know what this has to do with the topic of marriage, but
Right.
well, it has everything to do with the topic of marriage.
Or why it would matter at all. I mean, even if I concede the point, okay, so you've got what, 2 presidents in front of Jefferson, or right? So if for I don't know what 16 years, I guess I just don't know why it matters.
So you're saying the first.
It does matter. It does matter because you guys brought up the counter argument that the United States was not founded on Judeo-Christian values. You guys argued that
It
you guys-
wasn't.
That was the secular. No, it was the
Well,
United States and the
even-
Constitution was written and founded off of Christian values.
Okay, if that's the case, then where in the bill? There's not even one thing in the Bill of Rights that points at all. Especially even the 2 things you said under God. That doesn't mean Judeo-Christian values. We literally have a First Amendment that has a separation clause, right? That Congress shall make no law establishing a religion. And so you're saying that that's invalid because why?
Removal.
What?
Somebody gave to remove me.
The Bill of
Sir,
Rights is largely
You're
modeled
so good right now.
off what I think King Xerxes.
Oh, not
Our
now?
bill,
Oh, sorry.
our Bill of Rights is modeled after somebody who is not Christian. I want to say it's Xerxes the Great, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm fairly sure that our founding fathers were an atheist.
Well, I guess we don't know, do we?
I mean, was it Jefferson? Was he the one? There was a founding father who literally took a knife, cut out every supernatural reference in the Bible, and kept the rest of the book for wisdom. I forgot
Yep.
which one it was.
It was
but-
Jefferson.
Yeah.
It was definitely Jefferson. The other thing that's really interesting when you compare about like the
So are you guys
Constitution,
claiming that this country was not founded off of Christian values?
I
was
would
not
maintain
founded
it's
off
not.
Christian values.
No.
No,
That's-
there was a
the
separation of
biggest
church
reason,
and
we
state.
didn't want that is because we came from the king and we came from a country that had that, and we decided that we don't want that here.
So
Right.
if you guys were disagreeing with that, then why did you also disagree with my idea that marriage is kind of useless nowadays?
I don't think we did disagree with that. I think
You
we
did.
said it had its benefits,
no.
and it was
You
going to
want
be
to
for
pick and
particular
choose.
people.
You want to pick and choose.
Well, yeah,
All
marriage
right.
is not going to be for everybody.
Say goodbye to everybody, Josie. And you can always stay in line backstage too. That's
All
okay.
right.
And we do go into full open
Good
panel
to
after
see you.
this.
Thank you.
The
Thanks for
Cyrus
having me.
cylinder. That's what I was looking for. King Cyrus.
What was
Oh,
I
I
gonna?
didn't
Oh
know.
yeah, the other thing that's kind of interesting about when you compare like the
Do I leave?
Constitution
Yeah.
to the Ten Commandments, for example. The Constitution is a document that actually puts boundaries on the government. That the government cannot impose a religion. The government cannot impose on free speech. The government cannot impose on the right to carry. Whereas the Ten Commandments, those are laws for people. So just the action of the actual document is fundamentally different.
Mm-hmm.
And just for the record to the chat, it's kind of a conflict of interest to remove somebody after somebody's already paid for extra time. So it's a little rough. I'm trying to navigate it. I'm thinking if we just do 30 to completely boot somebody, that will keep it from just going back and forth the way it was. So if everybody pitches in together and does it and combines the 30, I was trying to say that for some reason my chat wasn't letting me chat. I do apologize. But
I'm having issues too.
it keeps saying it's spam or something. I don't understand it. And I tried from a different thing as well, so I don't know what's going on with that. But outside of that, it would be a very big conflict of interest if I was just like every $5 that comes in, up, down, up, down. So if you completely want to remove somebody, it would be a full 30. If the chat combines it together, I'm all for that. That's fine. But outside of that, I have to be fairly fair if people are giving more time. Okay. Fatty, you are up. Finally, I do apologize.
No, the money talks. And once I said, "Oh my God," and now I'm religious. I'm a Christian now. I think that marriage is not obsolete because society still actually benefits tremendously out of marriage. Human beings are not being as collective as they were before. They are being more selfish. They are putting themselves first. So even though we kind of benefit society, most people, and especially if we keep the dating up situation that we had for a long time, especially men, you are not going to benefit from it. So I would not advise nobody that loses by signing a deal with somebody that is going to benefit from breaking that deal. Man or woman, I wouldn't recommend it to marry. Live together, make sure that you take care of your kids, make sure that you give them the best chance possible. But to be honest, marriage is not, especially from a man point of view, doesn't benefit him at all. Like there's nothing a man can get from, and I know somebody read the rights and all that, but if you are a person that earns more, works more, doesn't take care of the kids so much, is outside and all that, there's nothing you can gain out of marriage that you couldn't get when you are single. So it's a woman's fault.
Do you think like a company that if like they're partners and if one partner is in the contract, they leave, they get a severance package? Do you think that incentivizes them to leave the company, and the company shouldn't give severance packages or have that in the contract?
I believe you shouldn't date a man like me because you have way more money than me, and I know if we separate, I will get cash prizes and all that. But if Carmelo Anthony, for whatever reason, likes you, go ahead and marry him, because now you get more protections. Now you get an insurance policy, and if he leaves you alone, you go ahead and benefit, right? So I would look at, I'm very pragmatic. If you are on the under position, do it. If you are a person like Oprah, don't go ahead and marry anyone because you are going to be highly punished if something goes wrong.
Do you think there's any value in a marriage where one party is taking care of the children and may not be contributing financially, but is obviously contributing? Yes. So then if that marriage were to dissolve, do you think there is any compensation at all that's owed to the person that did do part of the work in the marriage, but the part of the work was not necessarily financial?
It depends on the reason. If you cheat on me with a mailman, I don't think you deserve shit. But if you just left me and there's like a specific reason, I abuse you, I do something wrong to you, I think you should be actually benefit from that. But if we make an agreement and we shake on it and you for whatever reason decide I don't want to be anymore because irreconcilable difference, I'm not happy, you shouldn't benefit at all. They should come on the paper where the person that gave up from that marriage and didn't give enough reason to do it should actually be penalized for breaching the contract, like it usually is on any contract that you sign.
Exactly.
But what if both parties agree that neither of them are happy?
Oh, so if we agree that we divorce, I give you $10 million, that's my problem. That's fine, right? People that agree with each other. The problem is that you only know your wife and your husband when you meet them at divorce court. It's not the same person that you married. It's not the same person that you had kids. It's a completely different person. So you don't know a lot of time. When people are on their feelings, we know this even about friendships of like just normal friendships. Those people sometimes go.
Are there no amicable divorces? They're all
and those amicable divorces, if a man and a woman agree, you are going to have the kids, and I'm going to give you this, and you're going to give that, and it's fine. I think is on their right to do so. I just think that for the most part, the weaker side of the divorce is not going to do the amicable shit. They're going to court to see as much as they can get. It's very rare. It's very rare that the weaker. Let me just finish this. It's very rare that the weakest part that knows that can get 1 million says, you know what? Give me just 100,000 and I'm good with it. People usually take what they can get, and the court, unfortunately, is usually punish the person that makes more money, the person that stays less with the kids, the person that works more. I would never tell Adele to marry again a person that makes way lesser money. I will never tell Britney Spears to marry Kevin Federline, and I will tell these millions and millions of men, don't date a woman that has every right and is going to get a lot of things if you actually shake on it and if she decides to leave.
Well, that's not true, because women are the ones whose standard of living statistically goes down more often. But my point is, what if two people just don't want to be together anymore?
Both want to be
with people. I'm saying it's not true that women benefit financially from divorce. They actually, their standard goes down. No, statistically.
Oh, they lose their houses and their kids and their cars, like they lose
already. Yeah.
No, so the man keeps the kids. The man keeps the kids.
I did.
If the man fights for it, no.
Why do I have to fight for my kids? It should be amicable. It should be a deal. Like, why do I have to fight for my kids?
The woman has to fight too. It's not like it's a divorce court or if you get divorced, the wife automatically gets the kids. That's not the case.
No. The woman doesn't have to fight to have the kids because most men don't use their kids against their woman. It's rare that a man gets the kid and says, you are not going to see the kid and I'm going to go to California and move with the kid. It's very rare.
It's very rare.
If the mother is the default parent, usually the kids are staying with the mother. But if the father says, I want custody of the kids, they get it. They just don't ask.
No, Jasmine. Jasmine, listen carefully to what you said. Fight for the kids. Why do
everybody
I have
to fight?
No, not everybody has to fight. No, there's a lie. There's literally women.
It took two people to make that child. They each have equal.
You know what's funny, Kush? For a woman to lose a kid, she needs to be a crackhead. She needs to be on drugs. She needs to be on a very precarious situation to lose the kid immediately. So let's not fool ourselves. We know for a fact when you say the man needs to fight for the kid, that means that the woman has no incentive and she doesn't want to split the custody.
That's not what.
Absolutely not true. That is absolutely not the case.
So why do I have to fight for my kid if she wants to do it?
What do you mean? Anyone who wants to have custody of the kid needs to fight for it. So the wife who has the kid, sorry, my thing just died. But the wife who has the kid, she's not allowed to keep the kids from the father unless she fights. She's not allowed to do that.
First of all, that was God telling that you're lying and turn off the light. That's the first one, right? The second one is The second one is since like words matter. If I have to fight with the person in front of me, that means that they don't want to give me what is rightfully
Both
owned.
parties are fighting an
Let
accessory
me
battle.
let me just finish. Let me
The
just finish.
mother cannot, like, let's say me and you, and never in a million years, but let's say we had a kid, and let's say we got divorced. I can't keep the kids from you. I'm not legally allowed to keep the kids from you. I have to fight to keep the kids from you. Why do I have to fight with my kids?
Absolutely. But if I got insane and put a kid on an OnlyFans model, I would look at her financial status, right? And I will look at it and I'll say, you know what? If she makes more money than you know, Jasmine, let's marry. I have nothing to lose. I know, and like I told you, I needed to be blind, deaf, and whatever to date an OnlyFans model, right?
Likewise. I don't need a man to support my kids.
But no, let's go back to the conversation because I didn't throw a punch.
You're the one that brought up that.
You threw a punch and I threw a punch back. You said never, and I will tell you never again back to you. So I just want to focus on something, right? I would not recommend you to get married. If
I
it
don't
was
recommend you get married at all.
No. 1 second. You guys are trying to make this a man and woman thing, and I'm literally telling you, if it was me, and I know that I have way lesser money than you, I would not tell you go marry Fatty, even though I benefit tremendously if we sleep. But if you marry LeBron James, I will tell you go ahead, Jasmine, you got it, because now you have security.
Anybody, but.
Do you think what I'm saying is a man-woman thing, or is just a?
I don't think it's a man-woman thing, but it's a very weird way to go into a marriage and only marry somebody who makes more money than you because you can somehow in a divorce.
So you would marry
only people who make exactly the same amount should get married. What kind of bizarre dystopian?
Okay, so let's do this. So Jasmine, would you marry a person that makes $40,000 per year?
Yeah, I just get a prenup.
Why would you get? Wait. Why would you get the prenup? We just check it off. It's fine.
No, I wouldn't. I would never marry somebody or have somebody marry me because we want each other's assets. So I would say, let's go and get a prenup.
So why are you protecting yours?
Even if I married LeBron James, he could get a prenup. I wouldn't have a problem.
But let's not be disingenuous. But if LeBron James, I don't want a prenup because I love you, you wouldn't be mad about it. You says, you know what?
My assets. If someone wants to hand me money, I'll let them hand me money. But I have no problem with people.
10 seconds.
That's fine. There's actually a little bit more than 10 seconds. So this is the thing, Jasmine, right?
How many seconds?
Like the problem with this conversation is that a lot of times we look at these conversations and we think about am I going to get rip off, right? If in any business that we are having, in any situation, our number one goal is to not live with less than what we came to this conversation, there's no way you can actually blame a man that usually makes a little bit more money than the woman that is dating, that doesn't have money enough if he divorced that woman, of having another mortgage and another car and another this, another that. Like,
excellent.
I look at his fine.
Yes, sure. They shouldn't. Yes, like I said, people who think like this should not get married. I 100% agree with you.
Let me interrupt just for a moment to get to these real quick. 187 comes in with the $2 saying Jasmine is delusional. Thank you so much for the 2. And then MC Heavy Tis comes in with the $4.99. Hello to the panel and chat. And of course, Team Fatty bought his own own time saying that he's going to stay. Thank you for that. What we're going to do is I'm just going to let you carry us through to open panel. And you will carry us out. So these final 10 minutes, and I'll pause it for another minute. Just
thank you very much, Sarah.
But you will carry us through, and then we'll if anybody does want to leave the panel before we go into open panel, they have the ability to do their closing statements and step away. Outside of that, we'll just move into open panel.
I can just say 10 minutes if you want to, Sarah, and that you can have another person. I don't have a problem with, as long as it's not Josie. You can.
Yeah, it's good. We go into.
Yes.
We're going right into a full open panel right after this. Okay. So it's no big deal. Everybody gets to come on. So if anybody is in the chat and they want to start lining up backstage, that's fine too. But you will carry us out with the final 10 minutes. If anybody wants to leave the panel, you get closing statements, and then we'll go into full open panel from there.
Yes, miss.
Thank you. Back to you guys. Jasmine, I think you were talking.
Yeah, I was just saying, if this is the kind of mindset that you have, and it's really nice because men like this are actually not very likely. The men who stay on the internet and pay to talk in panels are usually about how much they don't want to get married, are usually not the type of people that women are lining up to marry anyway. And I don't think that they are at all like it's a detriment to society or themselves or any woman that they were potentially going to get married to if they don't get married. So I have zero issue. When we're talking about as a general society, should we be encouraging marriage? I think these are like the outskirts of society that no, not for these people.
Do you want to have kids and be married, Jasmine?
Do I want to what?
Have kids and be married?
I want kids. I don't know if I care about getting married necessarily.
So why are you talking about marriage since you don't want to
I
be
was
married?
invited by Sarah and I didn't pay to be here.
And I was invited by Sarah too, you see?
$30 to stay on, which is cool. Good
oh
for
my
you.
God, Jasmine, you see,
But
we are more the same thing. You see?
Well, the difference is in probably that time, probably somebody in the comments paid $30 on my OnlyFans. So I made the money and you lost it. That's probably
It's not $30. It's $9.99. Let's be honest.
I don't know.
You are not worth it more than an Happy Meal. Let's be very honest about this.
I don't know.
Let's be honest about this, okay? A Happy Meal with a toy is a little bit worth it than your saggy titties.
I don't understand.
Looking at the conversation, Jasmine, right? Because I'm done with the purity
Oh, Fatty, you got kicked.
Can somebody support me via OnlyFans with $30, please?
I'll give him exactly 60 seconds.
If you make an OnlyFans, I'll support you.
I will send you a picture of my titties if you save me with $30. Okay.
Save them out. Keep them back.
I'm already halfway there, so I'll make sure I'll do it.
We're almost to open panel, guys. It's like it's almost there.
It's fine. And I just want to say this, right? I don't like this shitty purity test of people that don't want to get married, looking down at other people that might share literally the same view as them, right? It's kind of fucked up in my opinion. Protect yourself at all costs. If you are a person that makes a ton of money, being a man or a woman, be extremely careful because you don't know that person until they get extremely mad at you and want to get your shit. That's all that is, man and woman.
Thank you,
okay?
Fatty. We appreciate it.
And please subscribe to my OnlyFans, Team Fatty 69. Okay.
Any butthole pictures?
I appreciate. No, I'll send only videos. I'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, I appreciate you.
All right, we're almost to open panel. Hi-Fi.
No.
Hey, can I just real quick? I wanted to say
you can't real quick. You can't talk.
I'm not trying to look down on Fatty.
You're
Fatty
using my time. Stop talking.
Nobody cares about your time. My intention is not to look down on anybody. So if that's the impression I'm given, that's a mistake. My intention is to help people make a better decision. And I think a lot of people are making mistakes, basically.
Look at everybody in chat. Oh no, it's hi-fi. $100 and you can kick hi-fi off the panel right now. Going once.
What I'm gonna do?
Come on,
I'm gonna shorten you down to 3 minutes, and then I'm bringing Fatty back.
All right, 3 minutes. All right. So the answer is yes. Congratulations, Sarah, for getting the entire internet to agree on one topic for once. So I think we all agree.
You about to fuck that up?
The answer is yes. So quick question. Does anyone think it ought not to be?
Have you not been listening?
I don't listen to you. Were you talking?
It was not me. He's MGTOW. So
yeah, what was your question again?
My question is, even though marriage is obsolete, should it not be obsolete? Is there anyone that doesn't want it to be obsolete? On panel.
I don't know that I think it's obsolete. I still think it has value, just not in the way. Here, let me put it this way. I think that stable families have value, and I think that marriage is the way that this is culturally recognized. So if you don't need a marriage to get that, then more power to you. But I think for a lot of people, it is a necessary step in that stable family environment.
Also, Kush, kudos for being the only one that fought back, but I'm afraid you lost the battle, friend. So I think they all proved you wrong. So just accept your defeat.
On what?
That it ought not to be, or that there's reasons why you could see it differently. But I agree that they weren't very convincing. So, anyways,
that's not, my lifestyle isn't for everybody. Not most people can't
It's not for anybody. I think we all on the internet agree.
Just wait out the minute 20 seconds.
Just keep talking like Flo. So, anyways, I'll go ahead and use my last minute as a moment of zen and ask Flow State if he has read Aquinas.
I'm never gonna read Aquinas. I hate Aquinas. He's my least favorite saint. And he's dead, so what's it matter?
Also, I learned something tonight. Apparently the United States of America was founded by 90% atheists and 10% Jews and 10% Muslims. So
how'd you do your math there?
So we all learned something neat tonight. So that's what I learned. I just wanted to share that.
I just learned that there's 110%.
There is. Jasmine, have you read Aquinas?
No, not super interested.
Oh, Michelle, read Aquinas?
I have not.
And Kush, have you read Aquinas?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
This is why marriage has become obsolete. If you guys would just
do you
read
have
Aquinas.
an alt Wi-Fi?
I've only got 8 seconds, dude. I mean, I can roast you in the after party. Don't worry. I'll hang around.
Right. Let me put you backstage, I-Fi. Fatty, let's get back. Somebody bought you your time. Now, Jasmine says she has 5 minutes left. I know you kind of want to go at her, I believe. So we'll finish this off, and then we'll let her give her closing statement. And if anybody else on the panel wants to go as well.
Let me just say this to my people. Please go to Sarah's show and send money to her show. This is not my show. This is her show. She's pinned at the top. Please go ahead if you want to participate in the game. Came to decide and send money to the Sam, okay?
That's so kind. So kind.
It's me, right? Or is there?
It's to all.
I'm sorry because when the guy that you guys said that it was before here, he talked about the benefits of marriage. Did he in any point he talk about kids?
I don't recall.
He didn't mention kids at all.
I don't recall. If it's the one you were thinking about, I don't think he did discuss kids at all. He discussed like alternate lifestyles and that kind of alternate sexual lifestyles. I think he touched a lot on.
I'm technically against marriage, but if I do it, I will going to do under the guise that I'm going to lose half of my shit. Because the half of my shit is going to be inherited by my kids sooner or later. Right? I would actually choose a woman that probably is better of a good mother than a good wife, because I'm expecting the worst. Our generation is not calibrated to stay 40 years together, man or woman.
Exactly.
It's not, especially with social media. I can't even watch my anime or my series before because YouTube got me so used to click a button and Instagram, swipe, that I can't even sit still to watch a full series binge watch like I was before. So if people can't even do that there, they can do that when it comes to marriage. Absolutely not. You are a very special person if you actually maintain a 40, 50-year-old marriage without cheating or nothing. So once again, if it's not for the kids, be very careful, because once again, it is what it is. And thank you very much, Ilkan Ali, for saving my titties. See, Jasmine, I am worth more than $9.99. I told you.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead. You got this, miss.
All right. I'm going to remove you. I don't know. I can't. I'm so confused. Listen, we're getting ready to go into open panel. It's okay. We're just going to let him write out his 2 minutes, and then we're going to let Jasmine exit and anybody else who wants to exit. I appreciate you guys doing this. It was already set in stone that this is what we're doing. All right. Shit.
Good problem to have. Too much money.
I do apologize. Like, I did make that very clear that we were opening the panel. Okay.
We're capitalists here, Sarah. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything, Jasmine? Did you have a response to that, or anybody else?
I don't really wasn't listening to what he just said, but I can do my closing in like 2 minutes.
That's fine.
Okay. Yep. No one has anything else to say. I think marriage can be really great. It's not just me saying that. That's what our social data shows. Despite people's anecdotal experiences, people that are married tend to be happier, tend to live longer. And just we're social creatures. We're made to have a partner, romantic partners. It doesn't have to be the same person forever for it to work, right? You can, like Flo's an example of this, and many others are an example of this. Even the other guy who came in that was really happy with his marriage, it maybe fails a few times and then you get it right. But to just want to be alone and have this fear that everyone's out to get you and that see the worst in everybody, I don't think those people at the end of the day tend to have greater life satisfaction at all. And that's also what all the data indicates. So being married, having a person that you can depend on and having love in your life is always going to be better. That doesn't mean if you're single, you have to be miserable, but that should be something we should all be striving towards, whether you want to get a legal contract or not. It is really good to look for a good partner that makes you feel fulfilled and happy. So that would be my statement.
And everything she said, you can get it without getting married. So she literally proved the point.
Yeah, and you said yourself you don't want to get married, right?
I don't want to get married. I said it's not like a necessity for me. It's not like I'm dying.
Okay,
like,
so you're trying to push something on me that you don't really even want to do.
I never tried to push anything onto anyone. I said people should be trying to find partners that bring them joy. That doesn't mean you have to be married, but to sit in your room and say, I'm not going to have any romantic interactions with women. I don't want to build long-term relationships with women. You don't have to get married, but to just sit in your room and be miserable and just avoid the other gender entirely is not a
do that.
And you know what's funny, Coach? Nobody said that in this panel ever.
His name is MAGTOW. The name of this group is MAGTOW. Men go their own way. I don't think those men are happier than men who get married or men who don't get married.
So can you elaborate with me how happy as can be? Can you elaborate?
Now with my time, I can talk to Iridim because I.
No, you don't choose where you talk to. Go ahead, Sarah. I got this.
If he wants something, he can. But your time is up.
I want to ask to the panel, did anybody else want to leave the panel? Is everybody else staying?
I'm good. I just need to calm down now.
That's perfectly fine. Flow State, you're good. Iridium, you're good. Fatty, I'm assuming you're staying on.
How much longer do you think?
You stay on as long as it's open panel after this. Okay. So you come and go as you please. You don't have to stay. You've done your panel time, the slot. But then this is where like the gloves come off and usually stuff gets crazy. Totally up to you. No obligation.
Come on, just get another drink, Kush. You have more 30 minutes.
Come on, Kush. You're good for it.
I'll stay. I'm staying a little bit longer. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I guess the last thing I'll say is the reason I'm getting off is I'm about to release some fire content on my OnlyFans that I need to edit and put out. So if you guys want to follow me there, see these titties in action, yeah, that's all.
We already saw your
asshole. Be better than Fatty's OnlyFans content.
We already saw your asshole, but go ahead and support the show. And by the way, Sarah, remember when I said last week that Jasmine Jafar was actually way smarter than people take credit for, give her credit for? I take that back. Thank you very much.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, no, I'm broken. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Jasmine. I appreciate you coming on. This is a great conversation, guys. I really appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Jasmine. All right. Super fun. Okay. Are we ready to go into full panel explosive mode?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Here we go.
Release the Kraken!
All right, wait a minute. How did that one? You're not here
Sarah,
yet.
what the heck was that?
What?
What was her position on the issue? Was it even brought up once?
You were late. You were late, and you didn't listen, and everyone else knew it.
I was watching.
All right.
Did you watch the video? Did you watch the video at the beginning?
Yeah.
Pardon me for just a moment. Let me interrupt. Trigger Mike, hold on just a second Josie. Trigger Mike, I see you in the backstage. We're at full capacity, so if anybody jumps off, you will be. Well, I know Glenn stepped away, so I don't know where he is. But yeah, you guys are up next, okay?
Shout out to my brother Trigger.
Fatty, why do you gotta scare all the rational people away from the space? You're
Hey,
fucking
what am I?
brutal.
She like this is the thing
Also,
that-
no. Here's my real beef. You were paying in doubloons. The conversion doesn't make sense there. I think
there's actually more money.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
Heroes desired in dollars. Yes.
Let's make sure we're doing
No.
one at a time
The only
tonight. I
reason
know I know everybody's worked up, but let's make sure we're just doing one at a time.
W donos.
No. I know that you're just kidding, right? But on the fighting people, she was the one throwing the first shot. She said, "I will never date somebody like you." Like I will actually.
Okay, what is it with this panel that every time I ask a fucking question, there's no way I can get a fucking answer out of anybody?
Psychopath woman, you better be quiet. You can stab us over the internet.
Who the fuck are you? You're fat. Shut the fuck up. You're fat. Your opinion's irrelevant. Shut the fuck up.
Don't forget to blink. Okay, Fatty. No, I think what she was identifying though was a demeanor that you and Jack Nicholson seem to share, and a lot of that is like you go into like the idea of marriage with this like doom and gloom mentality, right? And most men aren't like that. So I think it's super nice and grounding to hear somebody who's like grounded in reality kind of communicate and contrast that sort of opinion. Do you know what I'm saying?
You are not selling
no, I
reality.
don't.
You are selling hope strategy. You are selling bliss.
I don't. It still doesn't tell me what the position was.
Okay, Josie, go ahead. You got the microphone. I don't want to be stabbed.
I asked what was the people.
Can I have the microphone for 3 minutes?
Yes, go ahead, Rocky. Yes, go for it, Rocky. Yes, go for it.
Jesus
Go for it,
Christ.
Rocky. Go for it, Rocky.
How many bodies
I'm
do you
just
have on your
here
freezer,
to give
Josie?
a Christian view of marriage. If anybody want to listen for a second, I just want to give the Christian view
Sarah,
of
I was
marriage.
really hoping that the guys were wrong, but unfortunately, I think Andrew and Grid were right. You're legitimately bad faith.
Listen. You're here to carry water for them with your hands. Okay, you're doing it.
I don't want to be a downer, but you guys do know what tomorrow is. What's tomorrow? Anniversary of the Death Star. The Death Star?
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just wanted to give my view on marriage.
Such a huge
It's
thing.
a divine institution created by God. All humanity, you know, what? God damn, yeah. Anytime anybody mentions God, y'all got to say God damn.
Can you speak to the conversation instead of just lecturing us and preaching at us?
We're not talking about.
Can you just answer the goddamn question?
This is still better than listening to someone who believes what they're like. At least he believes what he's saying. Josie's just carrying water for Grid, and he's spitting out the.
No, I'm not carrying water for anybody. You literally accused me of a bunch of shit.
So you just mentioned them in your closing statement, but you're not.
No, I said you didn't listen with everything else I said. I said I was there.
No one did. No one did.
No,
I would rather see an airport.
All right, everybody
Okay,
shut
I would
the fuck
rather-
I said I was coming on there
a minute,
to prove
everybody.
damn
Shut
wrong.
the fuck
Damn
up.
wrong.
Shut up. I'm just gonna mute you now. Listen, if I start talking and I'm trying to get the one person who was talking to be able to continue what they were saying, please just allow me the time to do so. All
That's
right,
all you can do,
Rocky,
people.
stop for a second. Stop. I know you're here to try to say some things, but we're gonna say some things one person at a time. Rocky Shepard was trying to spit something out. Rocky, if you could please land the plane a little faster, though. The slow-mo ain't working very well for me. Rocky,
He's muted.
are you still with us? Okay. Rocky.
No.
All right, we're going to go ahead and do this. Glenn, if you're back with us, give me a thumbs up in the backstage. Otherwise, I'll bring Caucasian up next.
Is Michelle still here?
Yes, she's in avatar mode right now.
She's
muted. Okay, does she have a mic? Okay, can you give me what is your position on the issue?
Which issue? We brought up several. Like, is marriage obsolete? That was the overwhelming topic.
But what is your position? I mean, it should be consistent. Like, the answer should be pretty similar from point to point.
Right.
So where do you stand on the issue?
I don't think it's obsolete. I think it's being revamped, though. It's changing. So no, I don't think it's necessarily obsolete, but like the old version of it certainly is.
So on the issue that were brought up.
Which issue?
So the issue that were brought up, basically that it's secular, that it's not religious, and that the United States was not founded on Christian values.
You want to talk Christian nationalism?
Yeah, you're on the wrong
No,
panel.
I'm asking
you can do
you
that
a
on grids any
position.
time of the week. Go do that on grids.
Neve, you have been
Ban
dropped.
the add-ons.
On Ali, I apologize, but I gave him credits for Fatty because he submitted it a little too late. I'm dropping you.
Is it a timer or am I?
Well, Econ, are you using all 50 to drop Neve? Is there a specific timer on it? We'll give him a second to respond, and we'll figure it out from there. In the meantime, you guys can move along.
If
I'll
Grid
take care of
1
the
comes on
logistics.
panel, you can come back, Neve.
Well, Ilkon spent a lot of time
You have
typing
my
that message because he can barely read. So.
I hope Grid 1 comes on because
All
I
right,
love
he's-
Grid 1.
He says all of it, so I'm going for the full 50. That's 50 minutes. All right, we're leaving it at that.
It makes
Farewell.
me nervous
Farewell.
seeing Chaotic Truth sit silently for so
Say hi
long.
to the devil.
So I think I know where Josie's going with this, and I'd like to kind of follow lead on that thought, Josie, if you don't mind. So I think her complaint is that we're all trying to pretend we're using the same word, marriage, and then some of us are using old, outdated terms, and some of us are just making up words as we talk. And so Josie's like, can we agree what that word means before we say it's obsolete or going away or coming back? Is that kind of your point, Josie?
A little bit of that, but that is also, I asked where they were standing. I asked Jasmine where she was standing. Also, I was asking the other panelists where they were standing on the issue, and none of the questions that I asked or answered, it was always either
We've
strong
literally
or
been
just...
covering this for 3 hours now.
Because
It's
they
been
don't have
covered over
to.
and over.
Yeah, and none of the answers
listen to their positions.
none of the questions were answered. I just think it's pretty bad faith to have a debate where you don't even
But
know
this is not a
where your
debate, this is a
panelists
panel.
stand. Don't
This
fucking
is a
interrupt
open-
me.
This is
We
an
can
open
only
panel.
explain it to you. We can't understand it for you.
Like, she came here and says, define your position. Why don't you define yours, and then we go from there?
I
Isn't that better?
did.
So go
I
ahead
did
and
the
define-
minute that I got on there. The first thing I
yeah,
did
do
was to
so
state my
much.
position.
I know. Go ahead and define it again so we can go from your thing since you want to fight. Go ahead, you got this.
So,
I said-
Josie,
Wait, are you
one
even
more-
fucking listening?
Let me
Go ahead,
try
since
one
you
more
want
time,
to fight
Josie.
so much,
So-
go ahead and define your position. You
Hey,
got
Josie. So I think you would agree that the Christian definition of marriage has become obsolete. Is that the main point you were trying to get at?
I'm saying that there's the state that's running it, and that marriage is
Yeah, it's just a
useless, and that we need to
secular-
get back to the new year. We need to get back to our traditional values.
It's just a secular, civil union, feelings, no faults, all that stuff. It pretty much just makes the word have no meaning, in other words.
It's a bunch of liberals that just pick and choose because they want the nice Instagram pictures, and they think it's a kumbaya, all cute, and they have no idea what marriage is in the first place, and they think they can have this open marriage and that bunch
If
of
you are a
degen
conservative,
stuff.
why are you out of the kitchen and you're screaming at men at 1 a.m. in the morning or something like that?
Well, I
Sandwich
only
later.
cooked
What's going
3
on?
times.
What's
You
going
wouldn't
on,
know that
conservative
because you
woman?
eat all the time. That's why you're fucking
I
fat.
I rather eat than put people on the freezer. Blink twice if you do
Full
it. You
story, bro.
psychopath.
Blah, blah, blah.
What does it matter if she's conservative or liberal, Fatty?
No,
She's
it
making a
matters
Well,
point.
she's never going to find a conservative husband with this attitude.
Yeah, she's
joke's
one of
on
these
you.
thread code women that saw 3 guys on the internet saying that woman should be traditional, and now she's playing cosplay
I
on the
said
internet.
we should go back to traditional values with marriage.
Traditional women don't have donut chats.
I didn't say back to being traditional woman. The
Ask
traditional
your
values, the
husband
core
for money.
value. If you're gonna interrupt me, this is not gonna go anywhere. Sarah, do your fucking job.
Oh, calm down.
Now, all right, let's play this fucking game. All right, listen. No, everybody shut up for a minute. Listen, you're not going to come on here trying to amp shit up. You've insulted me like 3 times. I'm just not going to fucking put up with this shit tonight. You want to come have the fucking conversation? Have the conversation. You want to come on and attack everybody? That's fine too. But the one person you're not going to attack is going to be me. Because I'm not gonna put up with it. I just hit the little remove button and bye-bye, and then you're gone. So you want to keep playing that game, we'll play it, and then you just never come back again. You want to have an actual conversation with people, then fucking talk to them. I'm not going to sit here and play mom with your dumb asses and all of that dumb shit if you want to keep being a bitch about it. So stop being a fucking bitch. All right.
Name. You have moderator under your name.
Who are you trying to impress up here, Josie?
Oh,
Hey, Josie, who hurt you?
Stop for a second. We want to alpha female all of this shit. Yeah. Did you not hear when I said open panel, gloves off, minimal moderation? So you want to sit here and fight with people, you sit here and fight. But don't come in here begging for somebody to stop somebody from talking and making fun of you when you yourself are doing the same dumb shit. All right?
No,
I can only
when I
mom.
try to answer
All right,
something
listen.
When I try to answer something and I get interrupted every 3 words, I'm sorry, after an hour, I expect the moderator to come in.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, Josie.
Seriously,
you either do it. Listen, you've come on and you've interrupted literally every person here. That's fine. You want to be that way? Fine. I will shut it down when I feel like I'm going to shut it down. All right? I'm not going to sit here and stop it every 2 seconds just because you feel like you should have rights to this panel. It's a privilege, not a fucking right. There are people happily waiting backstage. There are people happily waiting backstage to actually have a conversation and not sit here and just
say it was a right.
All right, continue on.
I came here.
Stop being a bitch about it.
Sarah, if you allow me to disengage, because I don't want to fight Josie, right?
Where did
I want to go back to the conversation.
Because you're scared of Josie.
Hey, Josie, I don't want to fight you anymore, so let me disengage a little bit. Let me ask you a question, right? Josie.
No, answer mine first.
Who hurt you, Josie? Who hurt you?
Grid 1, I bet.
Your dad?
And
you are very masculine. You need to be more submissive and friendly.
Oh, maybe it was a murder.
Whatever makes you happy.
You ever been with another girl?
No. I just wanted to know where.
Well, I just have a question for you first, and then we can answer your stupid question.
Because that's kind of a bad faith debate if you don't know where
it's not a debate. Have you ever been with another woman?
Why does it matter?
That's a yes.
That's a yes.
No,
Count it.
I have not. I just don't know what it has to do with anything.
1,000 no's and one yes.
So, Josie, you got Michelle to answer. So, Fatty, do you want to answer her question? I think she was still waiting for you to respond.
If I ever slept with a woman, yes.
No, Josie's question is, where do you stand on marriage being obsolete?
I already said it is obsolete. It's not obsolete if it's about society building, because it serves a purpose. It's obsolete because the values of marriage don't follow what we are nowadays. Like a society that is very selfish. There's no restraint like religion. The laws are very loose. We are very used to consumerism and dopamine hits and all that. Like it's not it's not at all conductive to like the old values that Christian marriage and all that actually brings. So you are, even if you have the right recipient, it's like you're trying to put like a square peg into a round thing. It's not going to work even though he actually fits inside.
There are fixed panelists, Rocky. He wants to come up here and preach his fucking
Kick everyone.
Sunday school.
Rocky, you're on. Kick everyone but the host for 5 minutes. 8 panelists.
Let me tell you about God.
8 panelists, $5 a piece. I think we mapped the math wrong.
It's like 2 minutes and I'll
all right.
All right. You want 2 minutes, Rocky? Is that what you want? We'll give you 2 minutes. All right. Everybody.
Quiet.
Okay,
Rocky.
thank you.
You're welcome.
There's so many. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're coming in loud.
Can you hear me now?
Wow.
Yeah, there's so many issues. That you're jumping into, like the history of America, and and I'm sorry, I can't speak real fast. I'm so confused. This panelist is so confusing. I don't know what they don't understand about marriage. It's between a man and a woman. You don't need a license. You don't need a license, a permit to get married. It's between you and your woman and God. You should get married young, grow up together, and have children. It's not that difficult. Yeah, you may think it's obsolete, but it's not obsolete. The whole world practices marriage between a man and a woman, you know, and my advice would be to get young married, like Flo says, and have children early. Don't hoe around for 30 years and then, you know, expect to find a woman better than all the hoes you've ever had in your life. It's, you know, it's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. I mean, you guys are all confused. You don't, you know, you got, anyway, I just can't understand all you people. But, you know, I'm trying to understand you. I don't know why you have to reject what the scripture says. First of all, if you're going to get married, you should marry someone with the same worldview. An atheist shouldn't marry a Christian. A Jew shouldn't marry a freaking Muslim. You know, have the same worldview, get married young if you can. And divorce is you know, you can get a divorce if it's not working out. That's not against, you know, the law. Anyway, yeah. I have a Christian worldview. Is there something wrong with that? Can I have a Christian worldview without everybody mocking me? Can I stand up for Christianity without all you mocking me? I mean, the Bible says, you know, don't be unequally yoked. Marry someone that believes the same thing you do. And, you know, it'll probably work out. Anyway, I got a lot more to say, but I'll quit now.
Rocky? I was going to be a bachelor for the rest of my life, but your speech convinced me to be a stepdad of 4. I'm ready to be a stepdad of 4.
Yeah,
right
well, Fatty, we know you're a hoe. We know you're a hoe. That's okay. You can be a hoe. Hey, it's okay. You can be a hoe,
You're very
Fatty.
inspirational, Rocky.
You're a fucking hoe, and we know you're a hoe. So go ahead, be a hoe. Marry another hoe. That might fit you. That's your worldview. Marry a hoe. Because you're a hoe.
Didn't you say that you were a hoe too before?
He's
What
still a
did you
hoe.
say?
Didn't you say that you were a hoe before too? Didn't you say that?
Yeah, people can change, you know.
Okay, so I have like 40 years to go.
You know, you can find Jesus for a fatty, and then maybe you can stop being a hoe.
Rocky, you
Are you
stop
happy?
being a.
Are you happy there? Are you happy, fatty?
I'm not an alcoholic like you, which is better.
I'm not a
I don't know
fucking
if I'm
alcoholic.
happy.
Fatty's pulling out low blows tonight.
Speaking of being a hoe, Don Juan comes with the $4.99. He says, if marriage becomes obsolete, then it'll be the end of Western society. Then private property will be up for grabs. Watch people turn on each other. Thank you, Don Juan.
Yeah.
Fatty's a
There we go.
slutaholic. Fatty's
Rocky
a
gotta
slutaholic.
go. I almost ended up hating life. How he gonna tell us to love our hoes? The blasphemy. All right, Rocky, you're being put backstage for 20 minutes.
Bring yourself.
All right,
back.
you're welcome to. You're welcome to
Good.
stay. You're welcome to
I'm glad I
stay,
could
and
make-
then
I'm
you.
glad I could make it. I'm glad I could make you $20, Sarah.
Fair enough. Thanks, Rocky. I'll put you backstage for now.
Rocky was a hoe until he got old and had to wear diapers. After that, now he found God. All of a sudden, he wants to get married and somebody to retire him and all that. Come on, Rocky.
He's been married for a long ass time, I think.
But that's the point. I have a longest time until I get to his age. So I have like 15 years to go just to start planning shit.
But it's easier to lock someone in now to wipe your ass than when your ass needs wiped.
So, Fatty,
And you can do that by having children.
would you consider yourself a conservative, Fatty? I'm confused. I'm not.
No,
familiar with
I'm a progressive, but I'm a progressive, and I'm a pragmatic. If something works and is actually traditional, don't need to change it. But
Do you
I'm
have any
aligned.
religious affiliation, if I may ask?
Yes, I am a Saiyan.
A Saiyan? What the?
Yes.
Like a Super Saiyan? Like Dragon Ball Z?
Not
or
super because I still didn't achieve that, but just regular Saiyan.
You gotta
Is this like a Syrian?
The ones that
this-
transform them in monkeys.
Sorry.
Yes, when they see the.
So like atheist, agnostic, something like that.
Let's go with agnostic.
Okay, all right. You kind
You're
of
not
struck
going to
me as
call-
sort of conservative, but I
You are
couldn't
not
pick
going
up
to
on
call
what
me a
you're-
degen. That was very disappointing.
Okay, I'm clearer now. Thanks for the clarification. By the way, does anyone on panel say no that marriage is not becoming obsolete? I haven't heard.
I mean, I
no
think I
all
sort of said no. It's
No.
but it's
We
the
listen to your
things
words.
about marriage that's obsolete is the same things that's always. It's symbolic, right? It doesn't actually do a lot. It's it's not a tool that does a lot. It's more symbolic.
What do you mean, marriage itself?
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm sorry, may I interject? Good evening to everybody.
Yes, absolutely. Good evening.
Mike.
What up? This is dope. I saw it on Fatty's stream, and I came over to the real stream. Shout out to Sarah and what's this channel called? I'm sorry.
Raging Tomato.
All right, I'm gonna be a regular.
I don't even know where you are.
Y'all crazy over here, but I mean the topic is mature, and I like to get in on it. I made some notes, as I often do. I don't think marriage is obsolete at all. To say something is obsolete is to say that it's been replaced. And
what if the definition is?
Oh God damn, my nigga! I just got here. Can I get to work? All right, look. To say it's obsolete is to say it has been replaced with something better or more efficient. It has not. There is still no better way to raise your children. And in a way, I am married, and me and Fatty have this discussion all the time. And I kind of want to glance over what he's saying because he hasn't said anything wrong. He's saying the landscape for marriage, it hasn't changed. The landscape for it, I'm sorry, the rules to make it work have not changed. The people are inadequate to fit the institution. So I agree with Fatty when he said that. I didn't even know why he was being attacked. He was basically stating the marital landscape as it exists in the West and how people are unprepared for it. The institution is unchanged. It still has the same outcomes it's always had. Children turn out better under marriage. The richest people in the middle and upper middle class that have sustained wealth are all married. The people who get left the most money are married women. Like you said, it still has all the same benefits that it has. The people, we just ain't shit. So don't blame it on the institution of marriage. It's not obsolete because it has not been replaced with anything more efficient.
But Trigger Mike, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
And first of all, thank you so much, Sarah, for having me on the show. I'm Dark Lake. It's my first time here. Very spirited conversation. Trigger Mike, Fatty, Flow State, everybody I know. How y'all doing? Here's the thing, Trigger Mike, right? You say that marriage isn't obsolete, but if people think it's obsolete, would that make a difference? Because the reason, go ahead.
No. Get your whole question out. I'll answer it.
Oh, yeah, no. The reason why I brought that up is because I believe the answer to the question was projected on the show earlier, right? Yeah. There was a woman named Jasmine. I believe her name was Jasmine on the show earlier. And she essentially was saying that all these men who project their grievances online, well, we don't really consider them as dating options, and they're the problem, right? So they're not the overall consensus of society when it comes to dating and marriage, right? But then right after that, Fatty, I believe it was Fatty, had posed a question to her and asked her, well, do you want to be married and have kids? And her response was, oh, I can see myself having kids, but I don't know so much about marriage, right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing is that, I mean, if you have all these people who think men are so replaceable and they can have kids instead of the marriage or instead of the man, I don't really see how it matters if marriage is in fact obsolete or not, if a majority of people, men or women, believe that men or women are obsolete or replaceable, right?
No, yeah, it still doesn't make it obsolete. It makes her delusional. That's it. It makes her delusional.
She's not delusional. She's not Mike. She's not delusional.
Oh, she's delusional.
No, she's not. She knows exactly what she wants.
All right, but also, well, I guess we got to dive deeper into it though, Fatty. So the person that says she'll have the kids without the husband, is she completely absolving him of all financial responsibility of those kids? Because she'll take the child support, won't she?
Yes, but that's why
exactly. So that means it's not obsolete. She wants to control the man by using the children. She just wants to have the final word by excommunicating him out of his own family. No, so she still wants the benefit of having a father husband figure. She just doesn't want to be married to that man. So that does not make marriage obsolete.
And speaking of child support, Don Juan comes in with the $1.99. I-Fi, did you read Aquinas? Fatty comes from salad, LOL. He also comes in with another $1.99. Marriage is a contract between families and 3 people. And then following up, Flo and I-Fi, go read Aquinas. Thank you, Don Juan. Back to you, Fatty.
I was saying she's not delusional. She's what most women are. They are pragmatic. They know they can have their cake and eat it too. So it's about control. She controlled that kid 100%, so she's not against it. But the man, she will have to consider a bunch of things, especially with her perfection, like all that. Like she knows that is going to come with a massive burden. So she's not delusional. She's actually very pragmatic. I want the kid. The guy is a tool. She literally said, something like this. Marriage is a wonderful thing. It doesn't have to be forever. You know what that means? I'm going to get me somebody that I like. I'm going to get a kid from him. And then when I get tired of that shit, I'm going to go back to what I do. Yes, that's what it is. And it's fine as long as there's no delusional part, as long as the guy knows what's up and she knows what's up, I'm not against it. I just think that she, unfortunately, is most woman. If you're not a tool as a man, if you're not something that is going to put their life up, and that woman has a bunch of money, so she doesn't need a man for that, like you are going to be used as a commodity. It's a luxury. On the weekend, I go outside, I go out and I get some, and then I send you away and I do my shit. So it's fine. But there's the reality.
No, I can agree with that.
And ladies and gentlemen, there's about 180 of you watching between all of the channels. This is awesome. I love to see this. But make sure, no matter which channel you're watching from, to go hit the like button, subscribe, share, do what you need to do. It's your job and it's free. Thank you. Back to whomever wanted to take the floor.
So if you're not going to utilize marriage as the cornerstone of the community, what do you choose?
There is no alternative. Nobody will be able to give you one.
The state is the cornerstone. There's always
there you have it, folks.
That's the cornerstone. I don't need you because I can replace you.
Yeah, that was a pretty good instant checkmate.
No, it actually wasn't, because we didn't listen to Caucasian. Damn, what is it? Caucasian Sasquatch? You got a nickname, bro? I can't say that shit.
Your name is Trigger Mike. God damn it.
Hold up, Squat. we left out one word. He said community. A community is not a group of individuals. It's a group of families. We thought that women were the cornerstone of the family. We realized there is no family or community without the man, without the husband. So he's right. You don't get anything without marriage. Women don't create that same synergy, look out for everybody thing by being single moms, as if whole family, intact families are put together.
Hashtag yourself.
So the state being involved is a bunch of individuals. It's not a group of families.
I will say this. The social contract is ripped apart. This is not about community anymore. This is not about what's best for society. This is not about the next generation. It's about me. And you doing a deal, and you have like a 70% of chance of getting a me person instead of we, a person that says I instead of say or. This is what's going to happen.
That's why no fault divorces are ideal.
Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, I hear a lot of people suggesting we get rid of no fault divorce, like having miserable couples stuck with each other is better than getting divorced. I'm a fan of no fault divorce. I think that it should be just like it is.
What about just not getting married in the first place?
No, you know why I don't agree with that? It's because we romanticize too much shit about like baby boomers in their past. Most of those motherfuckers didn't like each other. Most of our parents are together because of shotgun weddings, and your dad nutted in your mom, and her dad went to his house. Motherfucker, man, you're gonna marry my daughter. You stupid bitch. You fucking got my daughter pregnant. I don't need another mouth to feed in my house. So men have always done duty to marriage. So it's never been about like or love. So like most fucking like I've watched grandparents talk to each other like shit and be like, these people are married. Like, bitch, sit your ass down. Shut the fuck up.
That's
my
how you
baby
know
girl.
they're
I love
married.
it. That's real marriage. Like, what are we talking about? These people never really fucking loved each other like we think they did. That's romanticized Disney bullshit. They did duty onto their children so the children wouldn't be fucked up. That's our
And now
parents.
the children are more fucked up because they hated each other and they stuck it out.
No, I think the reason the children are fucked up today is because the parents are divorced.
Well, I think that both can lead to an undesirable outcome, but the issue is really this is an internal, right inside of the family is the good relationship, bad relationship dynamic, and so thinking that we can make a good internal relationship with external controls, the problem and solution don't match.
What's the external controls?
Marriage, the divorce laws.
Government.
Yeah, you can't fix a
speaking
bad
of-
relationship between two people by having more government involved in it. Right.
Oh no, you actually need more government.
No, absolutely not. How?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. How do you do that? Why?
Absolutely. You need more. You need more. Like, government gives incentives to people to get divorced all the time. Oh, you don't have enough money and you never man at home. Let me give you Section 8. Let me give you food stamps. Let me give you this. Let me give you that. Government already is intervening. That's actually how people get.
How do we need more government? How do we need more? Right. I agree that government has caused a lot of problems.
So
that's what they do.
So you need government to actually funnel those type of benefits to people that actually are practicing what you want to practice via rewarding people. When you are looking at all these funds and you're looking at all these, and a couple says, if we get past to the 5-year mark, we get X. If we get this benefit, if we get this help, if we get this here instead of the single mother and the single dad, people are going to try to get like together because they are pragmatic. They are just.
So you're saying that the government benefits have disincentivized solid families. I agree. That's why we need less government, because government keeps fucking things up.
It gives people an incentive.
It's not about bad. It's not about bad. It's not about government. It's about government being backwards. What?
And speaking of things being backwards, Don Juan comes up with the $4.99. He says, Carpenter's Journey, the longest living institution in Western society, follows his work. What you said is a horrible analogy. Go read Aquinas. And then he also comes in with $1.99. That's the problem. Marriage can't be about love. Thank you, Don Juan.
I think a marriage without love, you're going to have... Like, could you imagine being stuck in the house with somebody constantly that you don't like? That sounds like a fucking disaster.
That sounds actually
Why you
like
married
people
them in the first place if you don't like them?
You know, it's funny, Flow State. That sounds like people that got married for love.
Yeah,
like when the person that is in front of you, you don't like him. Like on year 7, usually the person
if
that
you don't like them to
because you love
begin
them a
with,
lot.
if you don't like them to begin with, the odds that you're gonna start liking them over time when they're annoying you with their little things, it gets worse.
But that's marriage. My dad and my mom,
Flow.
my dad and my mom were together for 40 years.
So,
they
Flo,
argue
how can
about the
go
most like minimal thing. You know what keeps them together is not love. It's because they build shit together. Like actually, what makes the marriage last is it's not just love. We have shit going on over here. So when the love gets out and you are tired of me passing gas in the bed and all that, you still stay because we have other things that we build, so we're going to continue.
Yeah. And when did we start
teammates.
thinking that we can? When did we start thinking that we can be happy all the time?
Western.
2010.
And I'm not talking about like, you know, the oh, I just met somebody, how exciting, right? That's not what I'm talking about.
I mean,
You're talking
look at
about
this.
what?
Think about this, y'all. So I think what it really is, and I get a little bit of my coldness from my dad, right? Old fucking Nigerian dude, like they talk very direct with their fucking like knife hand and shit. And you can remember anybody that had married parents, you can remember their arguments and be like, oh shit, this dude was a fucking G. My dad literally would not argue. I mean, he'd argue, he'd yell. Then he'd be like, oh, really? There's the fucking door. And she never left. and she never left because she's not stupid. There's the fucking door. If you think the world's better for you, take your ass out there, right? And marriage is in trouble, in my opinion, because men don't talk like that anymore. Talk about all this baby, please bullshit. There's the fucking door and leave. And what that really did, and the point I'm trying to make is that when you turn around and look and say, what's the alternative? Your dumbass will stay in a marriage. the reason why marriage to me is not obsolete. Y'all saw that show Anton had recently with the looking ass girl talking about how she contracted HIV. I was like, what the? That woman was fucking gorgeous. That's the alternative to marriage. If you don't get married, you out. These people that aren't getting married, they never said they weren't fucking, right? They never said they were not having kids. They never said they were celibate. So we're out here doing a bunch of shit that's gonna lead to shit like that. Actions have consequences. Goddamn, I don't even know what I would be like, look like, what my blood work would look like if I wasn't fucking married. I'd be out here running through everything.
By the way,
I'm not married and I'm fine. I'm healthy.
By the way, the question I asked you earlier was if you believe marriage is not obsolete, yet you define it as like just some sort of dating, no fault, whatever, open marriage, whatever, then what meaning does that word have anyway?
But it's okay because our core morals and values, our founding fathers, were all secular and atheist, right?
Oh my
Isn't
God!
what they said?
Most were deists.
I thought you got kicked off. What the hell's going on?
And speaking of, nobody paid to kick her off yet. They kicked off Neve and Rock E, and they should be coming back shortly. But Don One comes in with $1.99. He says Caitlin Tolley and Edward, I'm guessing it's Edward Stark, got arranged. So,
Sarah, why are all the white people on the top?
So what?
Why are the white people? What are you fucking around? It was just actually, I find.
I'm black.
Get out here. Whoa,
Take that up with Moses Park.
Daddy's up here.
I don't
white.
Oh, tickle him.
I just don't get why people keep putting like. I don't get why people keep pushing this Christianity thing on the marriage and all that. Like, it's not about God. Like, God is still God. God is still there. God didn't change. God is still up there. Like, if you guys believe in Him, like what changed?
God is the state.
What?
You pretty well stated that the state is your God, and so when
but this is what I'm talking about. Yes. So we had this conversation on the panel a couple of months, right? And we were debating why the countries in the Middle East have so much success when it comes to marriage compared with the Eastern countries. and some people were talking about.
Let Fatty finish.
Sorry, some people were talking about God, and other people were talking about men enforcing laws. And the reality is, it's not about God. It's about the enforcement of laws and the enforcement of religion and the enforcement of some things. It has nothing to do with God or morals or faith. Because when people get punished, people stop doing that stuff. It's just about that. It's not about the Christianity morals. And people were fucking the same way or more than us 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years ago. This started happening with Instagram. God didn't went away when we got Instagram.
Hey, Fatty, who should define the standards of marriage? Atheists or Christians? Which one would you prefer?
God, I find this is why I hate you.
The most
money and get me off the panel.
The most intelligent and successful of us, no matter what creed, what color, and what gender. Yes, those are the ones that should define what is the standards when it comes to marriage.
Jump in there.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you because Flo was interrupting you.
I'm talking about we should let the brightest of us, no matter the creed, the color, the gender, to go ahead and to define what should be the standard for it. One religion decided it just because my granddaddy did it is not working anymore. Your granddad didn't have a smartphone.
Okay, so Sam Harris is a pretty smart atheist. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so did he define what the standards of marriage should be? Would you be happy with
No,
that?
Can you get to the point instead of doing a zillion questions, I5?
Yes.
No, you have to pay your money or shut up.
Nobody likes being slow
Just be a
walked.
little bitch and
Nobody's
shut up.
impressed with your clever slow walking.
Look, let him walk him down the garden path right quick. It'll only take a minute.
Sam Harris by himself is just a person. He has to go ahead and go with other people that are very smart and probably are not atheists too, and they are going to decide what should be the standard. What's the problem with that, I find?
Okay, I was just trying to see where you're
Let
coming
him
from.
walk down the road real quick.
You wanted
Come
to
on
be the
down
secular,
to the river with me.
The
I
secular
will show
people.
you the light.
Oh.
Hey, is that wider right down there?
Come down to the water.
Ali,
Hey,
you're
I
muted.
have a question for you, Phil. Why does marriage?
How about now?
What? Yeah,
Yep.
you're good. Why does
Phil.
the standard for marriage have to be defined? Why can't it just be fucking common sense? Oh, you know what?
Phil.
I want a stable community. I like women. I want to have children one day. I want to build something. And you know what? The more logical solution is to marry. Why can't it just be as simple as that? Why does everything have to be defined for all of us Americans as if we're not
It's natural, bro.
Who's
It's
Phil?
natural.
Can the other light skinned guy on the panel talk, please?
Damn, you know what? You put a timer on. Ali.
And the real guy, a real man with nuts. That's the shot to Neve. But Neb, whatever name is, his name is.
Was he asking me the question? My name's Five. I'm Phil, by the way.
Why are we avoiding the truth? The fact that no matter how much we all advocate for marriage, if women don't care about it, or listen to us, it doesn't matter. They say they don't want marriage. They don't need a man. They're having the least reduction to having babies. They don't want to have babies. They don't want to go to work. They say it's slavery when they come home and be a housewife. Why does it matter if they don't want to be married? Why are we advocating?
Well,
for
in that
something
case, it doesn't. In that case, it doesn't matter. But that's obviously not the case because people are still getting married, right?
Right.
So,
most people,
but if you're what you just said is correct, then you're right. It doesn't matter.
Hey,
Right.
New York, can
That's
I
what I'm
answer the
saying.
question since I think you were asking me? My name's Fi, by the way, not Phil. But
Oh, I'm
anyways,
so sorry. It was really small. My bad.
That's all right. That's all right. I get that a lot. So the reason why we need to agree on the
All right, that shit was funny. You're redeemed a little bit. Bro.
so the reason why we need to agree on the standard or definition is because if I said that marriage is an institution that is death until death do you part, and then I say there's a no fault divorce, I'm contradicting myself, am I not?
Till death to us part is it's part of the vows. It's just it's a tradition. It's not the law.
That's a perfect
It's not the
example,
law.
New York. See, he just throws word salads out there and says it doesn't matter. My feelings is
Because
what's important.
till marriage is not the legal definition of marriage.
So if the
Speaking
legal
of-
definition is that you must stay together and raise your children until one of you dies,
Well, no,
then
there's
that's the
marriage as a
definition of
contract.
marriage.
Again, why does that? But again,
Marriage as a
my question
contract
to you:
with
why does
God.
that need to be defined?
These are different.
It's something
There would
that-
be a lot more dead spouses.
It's the same, you got to ask yourself the same question about anything. Why do we define like what is murder or theft? You know, what is
How high are you?
what is
It's a good
adultery?
question.
What is divorce?
good-
Why do we
It's a
define
good
these
question.
terms?
This is, I guess, the answer for the question. It's a good question because I think that's usually what happens when we allow some people into our ranks. They like chaos and disorder, and they'll ask questions. Not you, but they'll ask questions like, "Why does it need to be defined? Why do we need order and structure?" What I've noticed is that the more mature you are, or the more mature a society becomes, and more civil it becomes, it demands formality. All right, I'm a very mature man. You can't just shrug your shoulders at me when I ask you a serious question and say, "It is what it is. Do what you want." I'm not that type of person. You see what I'm saying? I'm extremely militant. I need a directive and a time to get it done. And I think the more mature society becomes, we demand formality. All right, that's all it is. The less mature people like egalitarian, laissez-faire. I do what I want. I come home when I want. I fuck who I want. That shit leads to bad shit. It leads to chaos. That's what chaos is. So marriage is a formality. It needs to have established rules. We all literally we all seek to be ruled, because if you're out here getting hurt by the chaos, you're going to seek structure. That's why you see that dude in the church at the end of the church sermon. Come on down if you want to give your life to Jesus. That motherfucker's crying all the way down to the. I've been here always. They demand formality because their life has been chaos. So it's just them trying to be mature, bro. That's.
And speaking of giving my life over to Jesus, Don Juan comes in with the $1.99. Atheists wouldn't exist without God. And then P. Fletch is putting Josie in timeout for 5 minutes. Josie, I'm putting you backstage for 5 minutes. Here's to kick Josie because I can. So you got 5 minutes in the backstage, Josie, just so you know. Don Juan comes in with $1.99. My dude on the panel looks like Joe Budden. I'm guessing maybe Biden. Budden. I don't know. Budden
Why?
is
who?
I don't
It's gotta
know.
be me. I'm the only white guy.
No, it's Ali.
I don't want to rub my hairy leg.
Is the
Oh,
point
It's like a corpse flow.
I don't know who
That's true.
Budden is.
Joe Budden.
Why?
you never saw You Got Served? Damn, Sarah. Let's do it for Little Saints. You never saw that?
Oh,
He's the white guy on the nipple.
Look, I'm really dumb when it comes to names, okay? And just for the record, we're over 190 people viewing between all of the channels. I'm really excited for everybody getting some exposure and getting panel time. So again, as a viewer, go hit the like button, subscribe, hit over to everybody's channels as well. And we're going from there. Back to you.
While we're plugging our channels, I wanted to plug my OnlyFans. I'm gonna be releasing that soon, so
How big are your titties? How big are your titties?
You'll have to
I don't know, but I
subscribe to
got
find
real big
out.
feet.
You gotta pay the fees first.
I don't know about that. I can go to Reddit. I'll see you in.
By the way, that's not a seashell. That's a zoomed in picture of something on me. So
that's not a
subscribe
seashell.
to find out. No. It's
Damn, I was catfish for like
it's a
3
close
months.
up of something. You'll find
I was
out when you
catfish
subscribe.
for 3 months. Damn.
Yeah, baby. Getting
I'm
hot
just
in
saying,
here
like,
tonight.
I know Flo doesn't agree because Flo is on the Woman Defense Force. I think actually, if woman tomorrow, like we had this conversation all the time, if woman tomorrow decided that they want to get married at 21 or 23, like men will follow. Well, men will follow suit. Like men will follow where women go.
Can you define what a woman is?
Is a woman with titties.
So anybody with titties, silicone or otherwise.
And it will be good to have a vagina. Yes.
It would be
But
good.
Not necessary.
No, not
required.
necessary. No,
Define
because
a woman.
there's a real one, not
Just
the
tell me
plastic
what a
one.
woman is, bro.
No,
Vagina
a real,
optional.
like a
Depending on
real.
how big iFi's titties are, he might still be.
I
married.
got some titties,
I got a
man. I got
solid
that
eight.
dad bod rocking. I got
Yes.
a kid, dude, so I got some
A
titties for
woman
you.
is somebody that if I fuck you raw and I come
breastfeed
inside
your
of you,
I try
I'll
not
be
to.
scared.
The authorities
That's
told
what a
me to
woman
stop.
of
It's
pregnancy.
it's an umbrella.
Wide
term.
Earp. What was the point of the question? I'm curious, Wide Earp.
Oh, well, you see, I find it funny that he argues back and forth about what men and women should do or how they should do it, but he can't seem to distinguish between the two.
How can I not
Make the
distinguish between the
definition.
two?
Because you
can I
can't
not-
even define either one. I was going to ask about a man and
A
a
man has balls, right? Between your legs,
Not
like
always,
yours,
apparently.
right? And the woman has
Optional.
like a vagina
Optional.
and a uterus. Like how is that? How is that
Perhaps.
confusing?
You gotta
You
pay
want to-
pay extra
okay,
for
you
the
want to
upgrade,
confess something?
Caucasian.
You want to confess something to us, Caucasian? What's going on here?
I heard that boys have a penis and girls have a vagina.
vagina.
Is that true?
Facts.
It used to be.
It's not the Puma.
Unless.
What do
I
you guys
don't do
think? What do you guys? Maybe Sarah can tune in on this. Like, what do you
No,
guys
she
think?
just
is the-
moderates. She doesn't join.
Well, what do you guys think is?
I'm
the
happy
main-
to answer.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. What do you guys think? What do you think is the main catalyst for the problem here? Is it what I was saying to trigger Mike earlier, that there's too many people who believe marriage is obsolete, or do you think that marriage is actually obsolete?
People don't believe that marriage is obsolete. Is the 30s is the new 40s? Go enjoy yourself and all that. Most of women, like when I say marriage is not the marriage, the dun 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 dun, like getting a man, living in the same house with him until that part, like it's just because women are delaying it. They don't want to get married early. They have all these horrific stories about it, and they delay as much as possible, and then they throw a home run from the middle of the court on the 29 and a half and see if they can score it. But
Right.
it's just that.
Hey, I have crazy powers because I've been manifesting Wyatt Earp all night, and Wyatt Earp literally showed up with his cowboy hat. What's going on, bro? How you doing down there?
Rocky, I believe he's talking to you, my friend.
Yeah.
And while Rocky
good,
thinks
bro?
about it, Down One comes in with $1.99. Flow State looks like the Big Lebowski with a do.
Well, that's like your opinion, man.
So I don't think that marriage is obsolete, right? I think that we all there's greater needs than just the financial, looking at divorce issues and all of those things. I think companionship is very important. But I think it also depends on the person. You know, I mean, personal preference. There are people that want to be bachelors. There are people that want to be bachelorettes that are their whole entire life. You've got your spinsters and your bachelors riding it out with their cats and dogs and goldfish. I'm okay with that. I don't hold judgment on anybody who does or does not want to get married, but I don't think it's necessarily obsolete. I think it is very important, not only for society, but for community. You know,
But Sarah, your question says becoming. Do you think it's becoming obsolete?
No, I don't.
Really? You're not.
I
You don't see
don't.
any trend going on in our society?
Here's what I think we're coming along is because people are delaying, right? They're doing exactly what that one guy had said in the original video of how people now view it as a stepping stone. So we go to high school, we graduate, we go to college, we date, we find our soulmate, we get married, we have children, right? It's become a stepping stone. So people are just pushing it off because they want to accomplish other tasks first to ensure that they are now ready for marriage, and ready to have kids and ready to start a family. Whereas we used to grow a family together and do all of the things together. So I don't think it's obsolete. I think we're just not making it our first priority out the door when we turn 18.
So I think the answer, can I add to what Sarah said too? Because as you were detailing what people think that they're doing, they're actually doing the worst thing that's not conducive to them getting married. So as you wait longer to get married, like let's say it's a woman, you're going to have a child, which is going to make you unattractive for marriage. You see what I'm saying? The longer you wait, so marriage is not obsolete. People are just approaching how to prepare for it differently. Just like you said, Sarah, people used to raise like, what the fuck are the Mexicans doing? They get married fucking young. They have kids
Making
young.
tacos?
Okay, every single Mexican I know is insulated by their family. Their car can break down anywhere, and 3 TOs are going to show up in 30 minutes to fucking tow them for free. All right,
Most of their families in it.
Yeah, it's like they're insulated within their family group by being married young, so they get the benefit later, right?
Yeah.
So if we wait to get married, so this is the crazy part about it. Let's look at the modern woman in the West. She is ridden with student loan debt. She is ridden with personal debt. She's worse off. She can't. I don't even want to marry a bitch with that much fucking debt, right? It's fuck having a kid with her. Then you're on the hook for that shit. So it's like we make ourselves worse off for marriage the longer we wait.
But there's a reason why, because you said there's not a substitute. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's hookup culture. Just the same way people used to. They're all rocky. Thank you.
I think they want to think it's up.
You can, Rocky.
Okay, sorry.
Rocky. There's no.
I thought you said Rocky.
Yes, Rocky. Rocky. Let me just finish my point, right? The same way people substitute beans and rices and potatoes and things that were good for us with fast food, right? We substitute relationships, solid relationships, marriages, and all that with hookup culture. And now I can have everything I could have. Like, remember, for the most part, people were getting married because that's the best way for them to get access to consistent sex. Why would I do that?
Sorry, Fatty. You can continue.
You said you have a question. Go ahead.
Okay.
Fight.
Well, I have a question for Ali. Ali, last week, when we were on here, Fatty mentioned that you have a bunch of women dragging you and alleging all these things against you in some Facebook group. I'm just wondering, what are they alleging? What did you do?
You're muted.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure about that, but you alleged you a woman, but still got a dick, right?
Yeah. So what did they say you did?
So you're not.
I'm just curious.
Why you asking me about?
You know what? I don't want to listen. Listen.
Not even
let me speak to the potential victims. If Ali has hurt you, you might be entitled to compensation. I know he won't listen to you, but I will. Please reach out to me. We can have a discussion.
At least I don't fool men. If a man ends up dealing with you, he at least he's not fooling.
You fool your. Ali, you're fooled all the time. You're fooled all the time. You can't even see past your own fucking nose. Ali, you don't. I mean, your eyes are so close together. You were just perpetual tunnel vision. You're a perpetual tunnel vision.
One at a time.
Ali,
Are you dilated?
This is a TOS.
Not as much as your eyes, not as much as your eyes are dilated on your fucking
Dilated.
nose right now, trying to
You're
see
not
past
a
your
real
fucking
man
forehead.
or a real trans. So what are you?
Ali, your eyes, you're in tunnel vision. Okay, you didn't even know how to turn on your mic for the last 10 minutes.
That's
You've
it.
been sitting up here the whole time. Why is it now's the only time you want to talk? You've been up here for the last 15 to 20 minutes. Now you're talking. Why is that?
Because you asked me to talk to you.
Well, I asked you to address. I asked you to address these
women.
allegations.
But I like
I asked you to
women.
address these allegations. Have you figured out what nature versus nurture is yet?
I like women.
This is
Have you
Judge
figured out what
Judy's
nature versus
court, by
nurture
the
is yet?
Hey,
Dun,
find
dun.
out whether you're a man.
One time we had a debate on nature versus nurture, and we had to shut the debate down like 3 hours in because Ali couldn't tell the difference.
The people's court. Dun,
Really
dun,
not
dun.
obsolete. They just
You still
want to
battling with
believe
yourself.
it's
At least I know who I am.
Yeah.
so they can.
You trying to get people to accept who you are.
Open that wallet, Ali. Open that
Open
wallet, Ali.
You don't even
Open that wallet, Ali. Open that wallet, Ali.
Open it. You came
Open that wallet, Ali. Open that wallet.
This is how you
Open
flirt.
that wallet.
I didn't come
And
to talk to you. You came to talk to me.
Don Juan Plagueis.
speaking of opening up the wallet, Don Juan opened up his with $1.99 in 2008. One third of males born in Texas are named Jose. Thank you for the fun facts, Don Juan. Back to the floor.
That's true.
Anyway,
don't
I
know.
think people want to believe it's obsolete. Marriage is obsolete, so they can live in their sin. So marriage is obsolete. So I can be a hoe now because it's obsolete.
That's
Come
true.
on, Rocky.
So they don't have to. So they don't have to take responsibility for the kids they made.
Yeah, Nightish,
Right,
it's a
Ali?
restream. The link to join us at the top. This is Raging Tomatoes panel.
You know, somebody said it already, but when they're saying is marriage obsolete, yada yada, and what would fix it, the debauchery is incentivized. I don't think people are dumb. I think we're not inherently. I looked this up once because I had said some stupid shit like people are inherently good. I was in my 20s. I was an idiot, right? But then I realized that after looking at it, people are inherently mischievous. We want to do the exciting thing over what is normal or familiar or good, whatever. We're going to choose to do what's exciting, right? Theft involves desire and opportunity. If we can steal a piece of cake when nobody's watching and we love cake, we're going to do that shit, right? So right now, the debauchery of young people, of the youth, is incentivized. That's why they're doing it. We can change all this shit around. And I don't mean like put anything in the favor of men. Start giving real life, natural consequences for the actions of people, and marriage will be the best thing smoking. And I
How
promise.
can you do that?
All right, can I give you an example? Hold on.
Yes,
Can I give you, hold on. Let me give you an example, okay? I believe divorce happens because what I've noticed as a married man, all right? The minute a man stops being a bitch and a simp, the wife wants out of the fucking relationship. In modern relationships, all right? So
Stops or starts?
the second he starts putting his foot down, I don't want our children raised like that.
No.
I don't want them.
Mike, you jump steps. You are going to meet your woman at 30, marry at 31, 30, whatever. What she's doing between 17 and 30 is as important as the day she meets you and get married. What are you going? No, 1 second. What are you going to do to stop that woman that is going to college to do what we know that she's going to do if she doesn't have a long-term boyfriend?
Wait, I didn't say 30. I don't know where you got that number from.
That's the average age of marriage is 29, 30
No,
years old.
but you also did the math wrong. So I think that's what we tend to do in the space when people say the average age of 30. Those people did not meet at 30 years old. They met at 24, 25. They dated for 2 years. They got engaged at 27. And that's what happened with me. Got back together.
Average that
dated until 28, got engaged at 29, married at 31.
No,
so
the
how
average is 2 years. The average is 2 years. So they meet in
But
28,
what I'm saying is,
27
from engagement to wedding, that shit could be
No. From boyfriend to girlfriend to marriage is 2 years on average. So now let's go with 28, 27. I'll give you 27 to you, right? What stops you from Barbara, 19-year-old, to go to UCLA and to have the time of her life? And then not be compromised when she gets to you when you are 27 after 10 years of partying, adventures, working on her career, being used to be here by herself, being used to solve her own problems. Like, what can you do to stop it?
Not marry her.
Come on, Mike.
No, but I'm serious. Like, at least the one thing we do have in the beginning. Hold on. The one thing we do have in the beginning is a choice, right? So all the brothers that are not married right now, you tell them not to marry that woman. But my point was, God damn, you threw me off. My point was that if we start taking away the incentive for people to act crazy, all right. So look at this incentive, right? If you stop being a bitch in your marriage and you say you don't want your kids raised a certain way, you don't want them being called gender fluid pronouns and bullshit like that. We are a Christian family. She's gonna leave so she can make all the decisions, right? So watch this. She leaves because she knows you're gonna pay her child support. She can keep the house, whoop de whoop. So start telling women, or make a law to say that's not fair. You have to sell that house.
That's your L for not sussing out your values before you commit that amount of time and money to a woman. Why would you not make sure that you have a shared value system before engaging in marriage?
Hold on.
It seems like your problem.
The point is, people do not know how they're going to behave until they have the opportunity. These are Christian women doing shit like this. Have you been to church lately? Divorced women in church, single women in church. Until you put power in someone's hands and the ability to fuck shit up, we don't know they're gonna fuck shit up. That's the point. They don't know they're gonna fuck shit up until somebody gives them the opportunity.
That doesn't answer the
But
question.
it still seems like a personal problem.
You can imagine, like, I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not comparing women to cars, right? But most of us don't buy cars off the lot, like 0 miles on it. We buy cars with 50,000, 70,000, 90,000. That's the economy of today, right? And you are literally saying, Fatty, why are you buying that BMW with 90,000 miles? Just buy it straight off the lot. Motherfucker, I don't have the money to buy that shit off the lot. And this is most women right now. The same way most women can marry an established man, because most of us at 30 are not established at all, so we're going to be struggling a little bit to build our lives. I will never go to a woman and say, just find somebody that is not struggling, because most of us are struggling. So on the other way, if we value women that are not going around and having a lot of fun, women that are not going to bring queens to relationship, they don't have those habits of being single just because, and I live 4 years without depending on a man, it's impossible for you to put the genie on the bottle. Women are going to do whatever you're going to do, and you have to take it what you can get. Don Juan pledges 0 Aquinas. Speaking of not putting the genie on the bottle, Flo,
I'm gonna say that.
Vialiri, what is this? Vialiri Aquinas. Violet Aquinas, meaning go read Aquinas in Portuguese. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Don Juan.
Was that Portuguese or was that Latin?
That was Portuguese, but there was very bad Portuguese or Latin. $2. It says, before 1533, divorce was not even a thought. Thank you very
could
much,
be
Don
stuck
Juan.
with that mistake forever.
Well,
Go, Fatty. Hold on. Hold on. Let me read them.
Is this 0 with $4.99? It says, she already got dudes trying to solve her problems. Be different. Give her problems and she'll stick around. Watch. Anyone can fuck up, but shouldn't. Read Aquinas. Think about
One more.
And Angelica Diallo.
Hold on.
They made it.
Go ahead, Patty. Hold on. Let Patty read this.
Why? It can't, Ali. Always looks confused. Several faces. Thank you very much, Angelica. And then Ron Juan with $1.99. He says it's Spanish, not Latin or Portuguese. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you. All right,
In the
Rocky, I
early
believe you're waiting.
1900s, yeah, in the early 1900s, they made you have to get a license to get married. You never used to have to get a license. License is permission to do something that's illegal. It's not illegal to get married. It used to be you wrote your name in a Bible, and you would keep the history of your marriages in your Bible, and it's called common law marriage. When the state got involved, then you got the courts involved. If you get married under without a license, you live together, you're married, you write it in your Bible, we got married this day by the church, not by the state, then you don't have to get the court involved. The court shouldn't be involved in marriages between a man and a woman. It's their own personal business. And when the court gets involved, then you...
Now,
So
Rocky,
what?
was that the Church
What
of
did you
Gaia
start?
or the Sharia court? Which one are we talking about here?
Okay, before you guys go, Before we get into the religious circle jerk, I just want to say, Rocky, earlier you were saying you were kind of like victimizing. You were kind of victimizing yourself because you're like, why is it that I just want marriage to be this? I just want marriage to be this. But everybody just is attacking religious. Everyone's attacking religion. This is why, because you're up here trying to prescribe your bullshit marriage fuck shit to everybody on this panel. No one's trying to hear it. You know what we also didn't used to do back then, or we used to not do? We used to not wash our hands. We used to not wash our hands. But we do now. Society like progresses and we get better. So actually, I'm indifferent to your religious views. I don't think you're wrong for having them. Just don't tell us that we should share them. That's the issue here.
Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Look up history. When was it first required to get a license to get married?
Who cares?
I'm going to look up the laws and the rights that I have right now, and I'm going to follow those and just tune you out.
I will say that something that's very unpopular, but it goes into what I was saying before. The courts have to be involved, or the state has to be involved, because we no longer have communities, villages, etc. The villages, like your group of people, your church group, whatever, we used to live in large villages. They used to mediate shit. But we are now nuclear families, man, woman, child, that bullshit. So now when the communication breakdown is between those two people, who the fuck is the mediator? Because now there's property involved. We got a house. We got cars.
Communities exist. Communities exist for people who seek them and create them.
Not for black, white. Unless you're Indian, Chinese, or Hispanic, them shits don't exist.
No. You can build a community around anything. It doesn't have to be the color of your skin. I understand it makes sense to do that sometimes, but maybe we have a different view on what a community is.
So a community, in the sense of what I'm speaking, has always been a group of families. If you're talking about a community of individuals, that's not a real community. I know that's what the definition says, but there's usually no definition. Okay, I'm not playing around. Nev. I'm actually trying to relate this to something. The reason why the LGBTQIA keeps making letters is because they're a community of individuals. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not one.
I don't even disagree. I don't disagree with you, but I think collectively,
individuals and not.
But collectively, they get shit done, right? Because they have a shared goal. And yes, there's people going in different ways, but that's because they can collectively build their community on something as diverse as who they say they are, their sexual orientation. But men want to cry at home and say there's no community, there's no church. Yeah, there is. Find people who think like you, build that community.
The problem is that you can't use intersectionality to have extended family, right? Like the community before was you had the grandma, you had the uncle, you knew your neighbors from the day that you were born until you were 50. It was the same people. Everybody grew together. You married the guy that went to school with you on the 5th grade and he's the local butcher. That's the community we're talking about. People that know each other and they actually have power between each other.
You're talking about a small town dynamic. That's a very, what do you...
But there's, you know what's funny, Neve? Why do you think until 2010 everything was kind of okay, even with giant cities and all that? And as soon as we got the smartphone, as soon as we got IG, for example, let me give you an example, right? In my country until 2010, the divorce rate was 40, 30, 20. It was like way below, like it was on the 20s. And 2010, social media, Messenger, i5, Instagram, on the last 10 years, 75, 71, 70, 70, 70, 69, 70. Like people now don't need the village anymore because they can bypass the village. They can put the kid on a kindergarten a way that nobody knows and he's not going to grow up. If my neighbor touched my kid instead before, he would do something and I'll say, hey, do you see what Uncle Fatty did? You'd never do it again. If now he puts his hands on my kid, now we have a big problem. The teacher went from an enforcer. Now the teacher is an enemy and nobody likes the teacher to do some more than teaching. Like the core community that we had before is not existing anymore.
If you could rewrite society, would you do away with social media?
Well, let me interrupt that momentarily. If I could kindly ask the panel, please be mindful of TOS, how we're talking, what we're talking about, and all of those fun things, because, you know, it could cause issues for me or anybody else that is restreaming, and we don't want to see those issues. You either need to speak in code or not speak at all in that matter. So please mind it appropriately. I hate being the politically correct person, but I don't want anybody to get shut down. And there's a lot of people restreaming off of this. And on that note, Don Juan comes in with the $1.99. Dave, I only speak facts. And that is in regards to the 1/3 of Texas in terms of babies born were named Jose. Don Juan also comes in with the $1.99. Religious values matter. 5th commandment. There you go. Thank you, Don Juan.
That's sort of circular logic.
So I was saying, I wouldn't. The genie's not going to go in the bottle like social media the same way I wouldn't put woman back in the kitchen. We have we have to make something new. Like the tools of yesterday are not working anymore. People are not going to stay for 10, 20, 30 years for most part with the same person. We need to find something new.
What about the women that want to go back to the kitchen?
One second, let me just finish. Actually, what I will do, and I'll be talking about this for a while, marriages should be like NBA contracts, like sports team contracts. We sign up for 5 years, and then when they get to the end of the contract, we actually see, did you complete the goals? Did I complete the goals? Let's renegotiate, and did the kids go to high school? You get
see how she acts in that contract year.
Yeah, but in my
Year
opinion,
4.
but you know what's funny, Neve? People actually
That sounds like a good idea.
People are more productive when they are not effective in their job and they know their contract is coming to an end. All of a sudden, they never are late. They always showed up. They bring Christmas spread. Like, they are just more pleasant because they have a goal to accomplish. So I think marriage shouldn't be a forever. It should be, let's look at our kids. Going to kindergarten, there's one contract. Going to school, another one. Going to high school, another one. Going to college, another one. And when we are done, what do you want to do? 18 years? Do you want to be an Hall of Famer, or you want to go back to the free agency? And we move along because we did our job. And actually, like, wouldn't that actually be nice? You do our job and everybody goes their way with like no hard feelings. I think that
it's a step.
Better.
No, it's a step up from youth. I'm under the impression that you think all relationships will fail, and I'm okay with that because what you're saying is a bridge away from what you've been saying earlier. But I still feel like if you set a term on your marriage, whether or not that makes sense for you, I still feel like you're setting yourself up to fail. It's like if you're dating someone and you're young, of course you shouldn't expect that to be with that person forever. But as soon as you get to a certain point, you have to kind of realize, like,
you prepare
do I
for
want this to
war.
last 5 years, or do I want it to last a lifetime?
You
know what I
prepare
mean?
for
Like,
war in times of peace, and I will talk for most men. You will not be going to be the last piece of pussy I'm going to get on this planet. If most men will be honest, this is what they would say to their woman. Hey, I love you. I will die for you. But you know those vows that I did? I'm going to get some in the 70 mark. We're just lying to each other.
yeah, that's like a gluttonous mindset. It's a personal failure.
And
most
of us have it right now.
And that's the reason why marriage and society and community is failing, because everybody's looking at it selfishly. What do I get out of this?
No.
Yes, absolutely. This whole conversation, everybody's been talking about what they get out of it.
No, Flo, is you signing a contract with the person about the age of the kids. That's selfless.
Step back. Let me finish. Step back from just the marriage component. The entire approach is self-centric. What do I get out of this? That's why all these social institutions are failing, is because everybody's approaching it selfishly.
If that was true, most men wouldn't get married.
I don't know if I.
All right, go play basketball with your married.
Your response makes me think maybe you didn't understand what I'm saying.
Flow state, I do. Go play basketball with your married friends of 7 years, and when you guys are all tired and sweaty, sit next to each other and start talking about each other's marriage to see actually what's going on there. I'm very aware of that.
No, he said everybody knows marriage to be like a sacrifice from two parties, but you have an individualistic mindset, and it doesn't stop at the discussion. That's what he's saying. He's just saying you clearly don't.
No. What I said.
At some point, I think that it seems that people used to care enough about their community or their family to make those sacrifices happily because it's more important to them than whatever it is that you're concerned about. Watching your anime shows.
No, but who changed?
Super chat, Sarah.
Who changed? Who decided to stop dying for the woman next to
Hold
me?
on,
Well, and I
Who
don't, since I
changed?
didn't, I
Hold
didn't
on.
live back then, so I'm not sure that something did change. But I can tell you right now that community is not conducive. One individual mindsets are not conducive to community, so it's no surprise we don't have community.
So, Flow State, do you understand the amount of losers that will crawl to glass like to lick Jasmine Jafar bottom souls? Like, understand that?
Yes.
Like, women make the rules. She's an extreme example, but for the most part, women make the rules. Like, your marriage, for the most part, is going to go as long as the woman wants to be there. For the most part. And it's kind of funny.
I don't even agree with that for the most part.
But
men wouldn't crawl. Look, she couldn't tell men to crawl through glass if men weren't already willing to do that. The men already consented.
So that's the point.
That's why she can say it.
No, but that's the point. Men are literally, she doesn't have to be a virgin anymore. I concede. She doesn't have to have her own air anymore. I concede. She doesn't have to be natural anymore. I conceive. Oh, she can be a woman with one kid. I concede. Like, men are conceding and conceding and conceding and
So
conceding.
women
and
have
conceding.
all the power, but you want men to act as though they have the power, basically leaving all the women who have all the power for you.
No.
So you can. I don't get where. I don't get your angle. What's your angle here, man?
This is the part about you conservatives, right? You kind of want women to know their place. Yeah, but then when I say the place of woman is actually like, it's kind
the conservative.
Let him finish.
If you guys believe in tradition and whatever, you guys would sell a dream. That man was the leader of that family, just face value. That woman was controlling everything. What the man eat, where the kids go to school, the way the kids were raised. That was the woman controlling that. We just sell you a good lie. Now women don't care about lying to you. They said this marriage is going to be my way, and if it's not going to be my way, I will go around and kick rocks, as they should. But the reality is you guys still want to think, like, you guys are still telling men, you just have to. No,
I can only say what worked for me.
Speaking of doing it my way, Angelica Diallo comes in with $1.99. Ali, blink twice and start an OnlyFans. I'll sponsor you. Thank you, Angelica. Back to you, Flo.
I can only speak anecdotally.
You didn't
He
need.
said Flo, Rocky. She didn't say Rocky. Preach your bullshit to us.
It's to you, Flo.
Fuck you. That's your bullshit. Anyway, history. The reason the state took over.
It's back to Flo. I interrupted Flo. I'm putting the floor back to him, and then you can go after that, Rocky.
He's gonna complain and say it's because you hate Jesus. I don't even remember what I was gonna say now because Rocky's obnoxious and autistic.
Can I add to your point?
Who's mine?
It's Rocky
Flo, then Rocky, then Ali.
Oh, after Rocky, then.
Yeah, go ahead. I lost mine.
Oh, Abby wins the argument. Flo.
I gave mine to Ollie, not to you.
After Ollie, I want a speed date with Josie.
So I get to go?
Why not? Why not?
So, Flow State, I agree with what you're saying, right? People are making an individualistic mentality, right? Don't you think, though, that men believe in order, men believe in responsibility, men believe in family? Don't you think we should kind of possibly do what Fatty's saying as well, too, by making it about men so that women conform and then we come back to the... So when we make it about us...
I think men are just as culpable in it as women are.
Okay, so tell me how.
If men believe in family, they wouldn't be trying to abort their kids, right?
I'm asking you this. Men take care of women in and out of relationships, spend money on women in and out of relationships, fix this stuff in and out of relationships. We take care of people. So this is what I'm asking you. How can society fail if it is an individualistic mentality and we focus on the men?
The men are not taking care of women because of altruism or responsibility. They're trying to buy pussy, basically. It's still a self-centric approach.
No, that's what we always
even
been doing since the beginning of time.
Even marriage is buying pussy.
Yes, marriage is buying pussy, literally.
Anyway.
Guaranteed for the rest of your life. Kind of.
Since the beginning of time.
And you make it
I'm trying to hear Ollie.
Cold.
If you make it about the best interest of men, which why families used to flourish, I think we'll do better. If women, if there's consequences, there's no consequences for women in relationships and out of relationships. So what can we do? I don't believe the contract will work, but it at least if there's something in there that says, hey, if she doesn't meet your standards, she kicks rocks. I do agree with that. right.
That's implicitly implied in the contract. Why would you go into a contract with somebody who doesn't meet your standards?
Because things change. You don't know the person
And
that's like, come on,
that's
man.
why no fault
No,
divorce is a
hold on.
fantastic institution.
But not only that, women have lowered the standards of marriages as well too. Women are 304s. Women are baby mamas. Women are bringing more than I got all these high body count, everything.
No,
we're not getting. Hold on before you jump in, Neve. We're not getting old school women. They want traditional men. They're not traditional women. So we're not. What are you getting? What are you getting in the marriage that you didn't get outside of a marriage? You're giving a woman your name, your protection, your provisions. You're giving everything that you never gave another woman unless you're getting married for the second time. She already gave other men everything she's going to give you.
No. I mean,
Can I just say quickly,
life is long.
The early
Commitment
18th century,
what?
they required the state required license because they didn't want interracial marriage. It was against the law.
What the hell?
In the early
What the hell is that?
in the early you used to get married in the church, and you could get married to anyone you wanted to. The state took it over in the early 18th century. Just look it up. I put the link in the fucking back chat.
What's the point?
So what does that
Learn
have
some
to do with,
history.
what does that have to
Motherfucker.
And
No,
read
what
some
does that have-
Aquinas while you're at it.
So one thing we did in the
No one
60s, men were getting married at 22, women were getting married at 20. What is making women start getting married at 27 and men getting married at 29? Women want to have their fun phase. Women want to have their whole phase. Women are delaying marriage to get the best man. She wants a developed man while you get a ran through woman and you marry her baggage. What are you getting at the end?
I think it's
I kind of agree with that too.
I think there's a lie in culture about what will make women happy, and I think that they start to believe it at some point until they change their mind.
But how's that addressing what I'm asking you, brother?
What were you asking me?
So I would say women were getting married earlier because they didn't want to be out in the streets. They didn't want that. They knew that women who are inaccessible and women who ran through is who men wanted to marry. So they got married early because they wanted to have a husband and they wanted to be a mother. Now women want to be able to go to work so they don't have to negotiate with men. They want to get a man that makes equal to them or more. And if they want to have a disagreement with you, they don't have to listen to you because they have their own money.
So that's I kind of agree. That's the lie that society tells them is that they will not have to answer to a man. God damn it, tomato's sitting on my face again. Will not have to answer to men if they go to work. But obviously they're just going to answer to another man, and it's a trap.
Hot coals on your head.
How?
Because they got a boss.
No, you just said men buy
You have
pussy.
to
So if you didn't do what she wanted you to do, I'll just buy it.
I can take the heat, Sarah.
Everything is
Men are being ruled by women in today's relationship. Men aren't ruling anything in today's relationships.
I mean,
So-
I don't see, and this is hard for me to answer because this is not how my and everybody's
I
gonna
didn't
say,
say
well,
all.
that's anecdotal, you're the odd case out. That's not how my relationships are. And if that's how yours are, then you need to fix something about your dynamic.
You are
that
one time
Why'd you just
divorcee.
post it?
Why'd you
Why
divorce
personalize it?
Flo, didn't you? Come on, Flo.
Well, Nightwish.
These
Y'all
relationship is
worship
working,
the
but the other
day.
before didn't. Like you are literally part of statistic right now.
Right.
I just
So
want to give a
why-
shout out. Caucasian Sasquatch had to jump off panel, but he wanted to say goodnight to everybody. So good night to you, Caucasian Sasquatch.
Also,
And
Sarah, I'm heading out in a couple of minutes, so you promised me a speed
do you
date
want
with
your
Josie.
speed date? Let's do it.
Hey,
Josie, unmute. Wake up. I gotta check your pulse, Josie. Are you alive? Someone call 911. I think she... Josie! Look at your computer! Unmute your mic. Josie! You there? Josie! I think she's dead, Sarah. Anyways, I just want to see if she's still alive. So y'all don't have to pay to like boot her anymore. She's dead. So, anyways, I had a blast, Sarah. Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna go ahead and head out.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by, iFi, and
Thanks,
your
panel.
one viewer. We appreciate it.
Also, don't check out my OnlyFans. It'll be worth it. So,
Nah,
peace
I'm
out.
good. I'm
We
straight.
don't believe you. You need more people.